we have a problem, but every night I'm making new best friends, and the only problem is we like having a good time.
Hello, hello, hello. It is Thursday evening. It is 8 p.m. And y'all know by now what the hell that means.
What does it mean?
It's another episode of Between Two Beards. We got all our friends in the chat.
Oh, is that the boss? Making sure
It's
we
the
don't
boss.
spend
It's
any
Zach.
money? Oh.
We got everybody in the chat. We're feeling
since
good.
everyone's here.
Uh-oh. Here we go again. Second week in a row, we're gonna get this crap from Pluggo. That intro needs more Boris. All right, I'm not opposed to that, sir.
For when
I'm
you're
not
ready to
opposed to
blow
that.
a company up, Spindrift.
There you go. Pluggo's got his Spindrift ready to blow a company up. That's
Ready,
what we're doing.
Fired up today because it's Thursday night, 8 p.m. You already know. JPJ said it. It's Between Two Beers. I'm not going to pop off on anybody. I'm going to keep it cool. We're going to keep it. We got a lot to talk about. Raw was killer. The wrestling was good this week. And
Sure
the
was.
PWI dropped. There's football
Sure
on
did. Oh,
tonight.
we're gonna be talking about that this evening. We're gonna be talking about that for sure.
We got it all.
We got it all tonight. Like I said, yeah, it was good Dynamite. It was a good Monday Night Raw. Wrestling is looking
Yes.
good. The in-ring price.
This is the official CM Punk Scrum Bomb Lime.
Lime.
Lime Spindrift. This is the official CM Punk beverage of blowing up AEW.
Unbelievable.
And
It's
that's none of my business.
We might have a surprise person popping into this.
You never know with
stream
us. We're crazy.
Kind of soon. It might be a surprise. But it's an old friend. It's an old friend that we haven't seen for a while.
Some of you may know who he or she is.
Oh, I think most of the people in the chat.
Or
No, Alex, get the fuck out of here.
Like, what are you doing? We gave you the floor last week. Can we talk about that real quick? Can we talk about how the producer Alex tried to steal the shine?
Unbelievable.
Get out of here, Alex. How you doing?
This person messaged me not too long ago. He said, "Hey, I'm around if you guys are looking for a guest." And I said, yeah, we don't have one tonight. So why the hell not? He's an old friend of the show. He's been on this show plenty of times, multiple of times.
You mean,
but it's been a little while since he's been here.
Alex,
get out.
Jesus. This is a professional.
Unbelievable. Guy gets a promotion and he thinks he's like, you're behind the glass. It's where you stay. I have to treat you like a pet. I will.
Need to call Taryn?
Unbelievable.
Need to get Taryn on the phone?
But
He's shaking his head, yes.
Yeah, he is. Taryn, well, you don't want Taryn to call you because if she calls you, you're at the end. You better turn her around real quick. But yes, it's our old friend. He's been here multiple times. We're going to bring him on the screen, but it's our old friend Josh Robinson joining the show this evening. And there he is.
Look at this face.
There he is. Yay! As Turnbuckle Studios. Carl, love you, buddy. Always good to see you. Thank you for hopping in. But Josh Robinson is here. It's been a while. Been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. Spencer approves. He says it's a well-spent budget.
That's right.
Spend this evening on Josh. That's what we do. So, but first and foremost.
By the way, you have like an international fee when you book me. You have hottest man on earth when you book me.
Well, since the boss is here, Josh is here. The budget he said was well spent.
Oh no. If there's anything I know about Spencer Love is that he's not a fan of that.
He does not like fireworks.
And Gigi Ray said it was cool. Gigi Ray said it was cool. She said just
two things about Spencer that everybody should know. He's Canadian and he hates fireworks. Of any kind.
There we go. Oh, and we have an international punk and pile drivers tomorrow as well. That should be exciting as well here on Love Wrestling.
Are we allowed to say the name?
What?
Or who it is? Boris? Are we allowed
if he throws it in the chat, we will.
Yeah. Promote that?
Yeah. Oh, third is that he loses debates to Josh 100% of the time.
Yes.
That was, Well,
that's factually
we got to bring that back. But for everybody that just popped into, for everybody that just popped into the chat, thank you for being here. This is Between Two Beards. We have our friend Josh Robinson joining us this evening, morning
Right.
for him, early morning for him. Is
Yeah,
it
is that
early?
Am I?
coffee?
Oh, is this Kurt? Am I allowed
No,
to
that's
curse
fine.
on this show?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay,
It's a
that's
nice
fine.
mug.
It's censored. I mean, it's
Yeah, that's a
censored,
nice
so it's
mug.
fine, but
What is it? Is it early morning for you, or is it just morning?
it's 9:30.
Okay, morning. That's morning. I wouldn't say that.
Is that coffee, tea, or
It's
just for
coffee.
show?
I'm not a tea boy
How
unless
do
I'm
you
with my
take your
nana.
coffee?
I don't. Pretty strong. One sugar, two
Okay.
coffees. I'm
All
a
right. Just
One
black.
sugar?
have
No,
Did you
do you
say
put
2
any cream or any
coffees?
two
nut?
coffees. My coffee's pretty dark.
The shoot job involves coffee, so I'm interested in coffee talk. I know.
Amir
I know.
shots.
But
It's
that's
totally-
only if I drink it at home. If I drink it at home, I like it stronger because instant coffee can be a little bit weak.
Okay.
You know,
Yep.
like, you know, so if I go out, it's usually just like I'm pretty boring. I know this is going to sound like total white boy crap, but just like a cappuccino with a couple of sugars. and
Cappuccinos
I'm
are
good.
delicious. Yeah. All right.
Or
I love
sometimes I get a latte if I'm feeling
Okay.
a little bit different.
I love
You
coffee,
know,
so.
but
I'm a coffee
really,
snob.
if I go to like any kind of franchise coffee place, it's cold brew all the way. No,
All right.
like, I
That's
like a
usually
cold
my
brew.
go-to. I live in New England where it even gets winter time. Like it'll get like in the single degrees over here, and I'm an iced
What's
coffee
that?
all year round. I'm an iced coffee all year round. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Mm.
That's what I do. Cold brew
Black-
now.
black coffee.
I've converted to cold brew.
I can't do
usually-
straight black coffee. I have to have some milk in it because it just, I don't know. There's something about it that's just very intimidating.
Well, that's why
Right.
I feel like I get the full experience, like all of the like when I just feel like if I drink a black coffee, I've accomplished something.
Oh,
So-
see, but you guys are insane because you guys don't have Milo. Milo is like the
You
greatest.
told me
drink in
about
the
this.
world.
Yeah. Do you know what
It's
Milo
like a
is,
chocolate.
Pluggo?
It's like chocolate malt.
Powder?
Yeah, and you can make it cold. You can make it hot. I have it hot, but a lot of people don't have it hot. You just like put like a heap of scoops of it, into a glass and then add milk.
So
Okay.
yeah,
All
there
right.
you go. See, look at that. We got Boris with his international guest, Amir Jordan.
Oh yeah,
former
Amir Jordan of NXT UK,
champion.
formerly of NXT UK. That's a good.
And then we got Josh Robinson, currently of Australia. This is an international.
Currently,
currently. I think he's been there his whole life. I think.
I
But,
have.
Currently, though.
Currently, that's where you're at. And
I
When
mean,
he gets
you're not
announced, he'll
wrong.
be
No, you're not-
currently
you're not wrong.
residing. Currently residing in.
well, last time we had Josh on Between Two Beards. It's been a long time. A lot in the wrestling landscape has changed. Raw was dog shit the last time you were on this program.
Yeah.
The WWE as a whole was dog shit the last time you were on this program. How are you feeling about it now?
Well, Pluggo, I
I'm
don't watch
super
anything but WWE now because, well, I won't get too negative unless you ask me about AEW. I won't give my thoughts on AEW. But it's really all I watch. I watch Raw every week, and listen. SmackDown's a little hard. It's on a Saturday morning over here. It's not really the ideal time. Like, if I have a Saturday off of work, no offense, I'm not spending it watching.
Even
wrestling.
for me, the Friday night can be tough because if
the
you're
Friday
doing
night can be. I
if
mean,
you're
it's Friday
doing
night.
something Friday,
Yeah.
when Saturday rolls around, by the time you're ready to go, it's Monday. You know what I mean? Or if
Yeah,
there's a
I'm not-
pay-per-view, it's like
I'll get there when
I
I get there, and I
Yeah.
keep up. Like, the beauty of this day and age is that you can kind of watch a show through the internet, as in not even like the whole thing. Like, you can just watch what you need to find on the internet. But I've been watching Raw, and like you said, the last time I was here was a long time ago, and Raw was not good. Like, it was unwatchable. And now it's become like a really. I hate that this is the standard, but it's just become a coherent show.
Yeah.
right.
It's not perfect by any stretch of the word. It's not, but it just goes from like start to finish, and there's like a point A and a point B instead of like all this other fucking
And we're
shit in the
all
middle.
just like, what an amazing accomplishment
Look at-
they made.
Yeah,
Great.
like, and it's one of those
I'll
things
take
where
it.
like now when I'm at work on Mondays, I'm like genuinely like, oh, all right, cool. We got to watch Raw tonight. You know, it's not like before where I would still, and like Zach says, hooray, coherence. That should be at base minimum what we should expect to receive when
100%.
watching a wrestling show, is that the shit makes sense. You know, that's like should be baseline.
I think we literally stopped talking Monday Night Raw
on this show
forever.
We did it on the Power Hour too. We never talked about it, JPJ, because it was just trash.
Yeah, it was not worth talking. And I still watched it most times, most weeks, But like, if I missed it on a Monday or I'd rather was doing something else, I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to miss much because it's going to be either matches I've already seen or the finishes are going to be roll up or distract, whatever. Like I just knew it. There was nothing there that was, I was never going to be like, oh, damn, I missed that. Damn. Because like Josh said, even if I miss something semi-big, I can go on Twitter and watch the minute replay of it. You know what I mean? But now I feel like, oh, I should watch Raw because I could miss something big.
Yeah.
I could, you know? And even that, like I'm going to miss in Triple H this is the thing the most that I appreciate is like there's good wrestling on the show. On Monday night, there were multiple good matches. Riddle and Finn Balor had an amazing match. Chad Gable and Johnny Gargano had a really, really good match. The women's tag match was pretty good. I wish it had a little bit more time, but it was good.
I just wish they would have did that initially.
Well, Josh was pro because
you were pro.
So this is we did on Power Hour. We talked about this a little bit, and Josh was, "Hey, Culp, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you in the chat."
Shout out to my boy Culp. Go check out his sports page, Culp Sports Corner. Dude's trying to take over the sports world. Love
there you go,
man.
Go give him some love. He's a good dude.
Love this dude. Day one guy.
Josh was pro that decision. So
okay. Well, because I just thought what they did on Monday night, the match was great. It was the right decision. Put the belts on the team that's the hottest in terms of the storyline and where they're going. Because I think once Bayley gets the belt from Bianca, because I think that's where that's going, then that faction going to take off the races. I would have just started it earlier, but I had no complaints with them finally making it right.
Yeah, and I think my thing is the fact that they swapped it only a few weeks after, like, I guess my only question would be, did Raquel and Aaliyah gain anything from it?
They gained the title reign.
I mean, yeah. Now they're former champions, but
okay, I know a lot of people don't like Aaliyah and whatever. She's not everyone's cup of tea. And what I'm about to say does not make Aaliyah the best wrestler in the world.
Oh, we're pro Aaliyah. She's the
Just
goat.
because you defend someone doesn't mean they're the best in the world. But Aaliyah has been in that company longer than I've been alive. It feels like she was in NXT for 465 years, and
she's old as Luchasaurus.
Yeah, she's just. I feel like sometimes it's not always the way in wrestling, and some people won't agree with me with this, but sometimes people they deserve to have something just because they've worked hard. And not everyone that works hard, and that's not to say anyone doesn't work hard, but sometimes it's just like, hey, you can have this. Even if it's just for a couple of weeks, you've got something to your name. Like, I think that sometimes life is unfair, but this is just...
They did it with Cardona in the IC title win. He won it at Mania in front of his family and lost it the next night.
Yeah.
I think sometimes also, I think what WWE is learning with this new regime or whatever you want to call it is that sometimes they're going to have to go through learning curves of like, we can't just do shocks to do shocks. Because that was I feel like sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes was the mindset with the previous tenure of WWE management was just, they think this, so we're going to do this. So I feel like there might have been a lot of people surrounding Hana or whoever was in charge of this to say, oh, they think Io and Dakota are going to win, so we need to give them this to kind of change it up a little bit. And I feel like sometimes they've probably gone, a surprise, predictability doesn't mean bad.
It's true.
You don't always have to do a surprise to do a surprise. And I think there's going to be some learning curves under this new umbrella to go, okay, this was example A of why we shouldn't have just done something to do something. However, I hate being the let it play out person because we're so used to that being a meme. But under Triple H's thing in the last couple of months, we have been we're coming accustomed to letting things play out a little bit more. Yeah. And maybe there's a rhyme and a reason of why they didn't win on the first try. And I know there was shenanigans with Dakota not being legal.
Not being
and
a legal
then
person.
Dakota end up, pinning Aaliyah. So it all kind of ties into one. But we do have to, I think, get into that mindset of like, again, people are going to be like, oh, but we've done it but under this new regime, we've seen Triple H's just catalog of stuff that if you let
I think
things play out,
Triple
it
H
works.
has earned the benefit of the doubt
No, I don't
Yeah.
think you're.
for
I
us
don't
to
think
see
you're
things
wrong.
through. And hi,
It's-
Lawrence. I saw you
It's
pop in the
very
chat. Hi, Lawrence.
hard. It's very hard of like 30 years of one way of booking, one way of thinking to switch back. And that's what AEW had going for it for the first few years is like, let it play out, benefit of the doubt. Like there's this new Tony Khan usually writes.
It was
the
a
wrong
blank
shit.
canvas.
Right.
So they,
And
they
so
had that in their back
basically-
pocket.
Right. And so that kind of with the WWE, Triple H taking over, we got to give him an opportunity to kind of, because he did inherit a ship that had already had some things that I don't think he would have done.
Yeah.
So
Bro, it was the
you're not
Titanic. This
wrong.
thing sunk.
Yeah.
This thing was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you're not
it was-
wrong.
it hit
was
the
over.
iceberg.
It's just
It
it's
was
one of
over.
those things. It's very hard to get out of that way of thinking when you've thought that way for so long. But
Mhm.
you know, like Josh said, let it play out, guys.
I
Jeez.
hate that. I know that's the horrible
Calm
meme,
down.
but-
I know, right?
Also, can I just say, like, shout out to Zach, by the way.
Who?
That guy, smart mouth, Zach.
Zark?
I call him Zach. You can call him Zark, all you friggin' want. But I'll give him the respect that he deserves. Zach is like home dog 101 when it comes to stuff. And I'm not saying with me, I'm just saying in general. That man works very hard. And I don't think he necessarily gets a lot of the credit with his own content. But just like the stuff he does for a lot of people. So shout out to Zach.
Oh, yeah.
And he's very
Go.
smart with wrestling. I troll that man so hard on Twitter. I think there's not a tweet that he has that I don't put some smart ass comment.
Oh, he
And I'm
makes,
Yeah.
sorry.
he
but-
makes
oh
all
my
this
God.
look good.
No, Zach makes all of us look good. He makes this show look good visually. He's just a good dude. He's
He
been
puts
there
up
for
with me.
good conversations and tough conversations. He puts up with our bullshit.
I don't know how many
Um,
times at like
yeah.
0 hour I'm like, hey, listen, we just landed a guest. Are you available to knock out a graphic? And he's like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, he's like, all right. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
He'll just,
Or,
he'll just
hey,
I got
listen,
you. Yeah,
I
yeah.
need you-
One
I
day
wish-
notice. Cool. All right, I
wish
got you.
we
No
still
worries.
had it. I'll have to find it. But when I was like, can you make a movie ticket to give to Spencer for a cool running watch along? And he's like, say less.
Yeah, and Carl in the chat. Even he's a wizard. He's a wizard. So yeah, that's a good call out. Zach is the
Oh,
best. We
look
all
at
love Zach.
this son of a bitch right here. Go down. Put
There
it
we
on.
go. Alex making it about himself again. Shocker of the
Oh,
cinch.
he's gonna no, I'll
Get
do
out
it.
of.
I'll
Spencer
look at
banned
it.
you from the chat, Alex. Now you can't even come on the chat. But
Here's
yeah,
your recognition. Get off our screen. Hi, Alex. You're good too.
gone. See you later. Anyway, God, unbelievable.
Oh man.
Um,
But yes, anyway, had some that Gable Gargano match.
oh
Woo!
my God,
I
it was
can't.
fantastic. It was fantastic.
This is what I love about the current product in terms of WWE. They've got 3 hours. Everybody knows it's a long time to fill, especially on a non-pay-per-view where there's not a ton of stakes.
And especially
Just
when you
put
don't have a
good
world
freaking
champion there every
wrestling
week either.
matches is on. Yeah, just put good freaking wrestling matches on, and people will come. Weird concept. I love
Yeah,
it.
and the shows have been like not every show. They've started with promos, but like if not every show is starting with a 15-minute promo. Like it starts with maybe a quick promo and then a match. A couple of them have just started with matches. It just feels like Josh said at the beginning, cohesive, like it makes sense. And the stories that they're focusing on, they have depth to them. There's layers to them. There's just, it's not so cut and dry like it was before. Like there's actual storyline progression. We're seeing people having prominent roles, people coming back, obviously. Yeah, like Raw has just been, it makes me feel like when I used to enjoy watching Raw all so long ago, it feels like, and I'm just like, oh, cool. Like I'm going to watch for 3 hours and I'm going to feel like I'm not wasting
It's
my
still
time.
too long.
It is still too long. It should be 2
Yeah.
hours. But for me, it's like I'm gonna sit here and watch Raw tonight, and I'm gonna feel like I didn't waste my time watching the show, and that's all I could ask for, really. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying about Raw. I will ask you this, Josh. What do we think about this main event on Raw? Edge and Dom Mysterio. I'll ask this. Okay. First, what did we all think about Dom's backstage promo? First.
I
Yes.
liked when Rhea spoke.
I did too, and I like the whole thing of her just leaning in and kind of like she's the puppet master. She's
I'm
controlling
sorry.
everything he's doing.
He's not good.
He's not.
Not
He's
at all.
not. And I don't want to rag on the kid. I don't want to. He's not a kid.
Listen,
he's 25.
here's
And
how
I don't want to rag on him.
Hey! I'm only a year older than this man. I
Yeah.
think I could nearly wrestle a better match than him. If you can't have a good to decent match with Edge,
Yeah.
you've got a problem.
Yeah.
And it's not so much. So when was it? 2020 when he debuted against Seth? Was that
Yes.
2020? No,
Yes.
time is a weird place, but I think we judged him. We have to judge him different from then to now. In 2020, we didn't, again, blank canvas. We didn't know what to expect. Obviously, when you have the name Mysterio, you have to have some kind of, there's more equity.
Yes.
And there's expectations, sure. But
Mhm.
he had that match with Seth, and we're like, oh,
Maybe
this kid's gonna,
yeah, maybe
this
he's
kid's
gonna do
like
something.
someone
remember
who hasn't
being
done
that
anything.
guy.
Oh yeah, I was too. I was like,
Then he worked in a few tag matches and did some other things, and we're like, okay. The problem is that he had that match and has not progressed at all since that first match. And again, more reps and stuff like that, sure. But at this stage, again, Edge, who has come back in 2020 when he come back as well.
Yeah.
And for the most part, Edge doesn't miss pretty much with everybody. I'm sure some people are going to say, but he has boring a match. I don't tap into that. Sure, if you want to, but he's not having bad matches with anybody. I mean, he was having great matches with, you name your match that Edge has had in his comeback, and more than not, people will say that I remember that being pretty good. Yep. If you're not having a decent match with Edge in a big platform when there's story behind it, by the way, I don't think anyone's complaining about this story. I think everyone kind of likes where this story's headed, but I think it's pretty safe to say that this match was a pretty big dud. And that's not on Edge either. If again, Edge can pretty much wrestle anybody. It's
Edge has forgotten more about professional wrestling than Dom will ever know.
Yeah, like, Edge's left toe has more charisma, by the way, than Dominic Mysterio. But I it's not to say that he can't be great. I'm not saying that he can't be, but it's time to take him away and go perfect this, go get better, and then. It's not going to hurt Rey Mysterio if he doesn't have Dominic around. Like, Rey will be just fine. Yeah. And I know there's a lot to say about, like, Rey wanting to have his last match with Dominic, and you still can. It's just something isn't clicking there with Dom. And he's awkwardly tall.
Yeah.
For the stuff that he does, he's awkwardly tall because he's not like a giant, but he's so much bigger than Rey, and you almost want him to wrestle like Rey. I know that's unfair expectations, but you do just because he's a Mysterio.
Sure.
Put a mask on the kid. Do something else. Like it needs to be. I will say that I think. No, I don't even think that because I think this whole heel stuff, while cool in theory, it's pretty bad. It's cool in theory, pretty bad in execution with how unnatural he is as a heel. He's not a heel, but he's also not a baby face. It's weird.
It's very bizarre. I
don't
do
talk
like
about Angie. Don't you dare talk about Angie.
We just got Josh back. Keep it cool. Keep it cool.
Yeah, I know. He's the first time he's been back in a while. Let's keep it calm. Let's keep it calm. Man. I will say Edge versus AJ wasn't great, but to be fair, AJ for some reason. Well,
AJ Styles.
The only issue I had with that match is it just went too long.
Yeah,
if they would have cut.
It was a little slow. I thought their match at WrestleMania Backlash was much better.
Yes, I think Sparkmouth might be referring to the first one.
Hey, but two great wrestlers doesn't always mean a great match.
Correct. Yeah, there is
some people don't
click. Two great wrestlers sometimes don't have chemistry together,
in this
and
case,
it doesn't
two
work.
of the greatest wrestlers of all time doesn't necessarily mean that they'll mesh. Yeah. And I'm not saying they didn't. I just think people had such high expectations of what Edge and AJ could have been that when it was a little slower, they were just like, huh.
I would agree. Yeah, I think it was the Mania match was far slower. It was more story driven, like just a slower, methodical match.
Yeah,
and people weren't expecting that with those two. They were expecting what you would expect with old, Edge from 10 years. It's just different. It's just
I
different.
don't think would you say that Edge is the step behind? Because I don't think he is. To be fair, I don't. But that's just my
A
opinion.
step behind what? Like
A
just
step
Where
behind
he was?
where he was.
Well, I would
So-
absolutely say that at 20 years of.
I mean,
younger-
age-wise,
just
I would
age-wise,
say.
yes.
But I think Edge does. I think Edge wrestles way smarter than he used to.
Well, yes, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I think, yeah, and I think the fact that he knows his injury history and he knows the things he needs to do to kind of protect and last however long he wants to last. So I would agree that I think he wrestles smarter. And Spencer saying there that he thinks he's been more hit or miss than he was in the past.
I must have been on the team Randy Edge matches because I actually genuinely liked those.
Well, the one that they dubbed the greatest,
the greatest wrestling match ever. That was.
I think everybody was like, "This wasn't good," but it's only because of the.
I thought they. Again,
I
thought it was fine.
I liked
the Rollins stuff. The Rollins stuff was
Excellent.
fantastic.
The Rollins stuff was excellent, and
but Seth Rollins is the greatest wrestler in the world. So
yeah,
but to all of this point, there is that discourse of the internet wrestling community that thinks the Edge return has not been great.
I have seen it more often than I haven't. I will say that some people are just like.
Yeah, they're
the
just
greatest wrestling match of all time was ranked as the second best match of the year.
I thought it was in the top. I thought it was in the top 10 WWE matches of that year, but I don't think it was the second.
It was the greatest wrestling.
I mean, I
match
don't
ever.
think. I honestly don't, and I think we talked about it when this became a thing. I don't think anybody could live up to that.
No, nobody can. No, if you're hyping a match as the greatest wrestling match of all time,
I don't care who it is in the ring.
It's never gonna.
Edge even said that. He was like, "Why
would you do? I bet you Edge and Orton, as professional as they are,
Edge tore his Achilles in that match. So
yeah,
I mean,
like as professional as they are, they were probably like, "Why?
What the fuck?
Why are we doing this with this match? Amazing. Like you're setting us up to fail. There's no way we win in this scenario."
They did the best they could.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that's what they did it for. The
I mean, you're not wrong, Zach.
Zach is not wrong there.
I don't know. When I Google greatest wrestling matches ever, Aaliyah pops up.
There you go.
Wow. Oh dear.
Wow.
You just look at that seller, that chiropractor on Monday night, and you'll see what I think.
Why you gotta do that?
Here's
the thing. When it comes to this specific thing, the match on Monday, especially like when I realized like halfway through the show, I'm like, oh, they're giving Dom and Edge the main event.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what?
Like the main event.
That was also a misstep. And I know it's Edge and Dom, but like he wasn't.
I know it's Edge. Edge deserves it. I was like, you're going to give Dom 25 minutes here to end the show? Like, I was like, something's got to be happening. Is something doing? Because you're just going to let this kid. Like, I understand Edge is Edge and Edge can carry people, but like 25 minutes. 25 minutes.
By the way, segments. I don't think the match was. I won't say the match was bad.
I would. It just wasn't.
That's a stretch. If you're saying it's bad, I'm like, you're just picking to pick. Like, it was subpar.
Yeah, and it didn't give me any more hope for Dom. And I want Dom to be good. I like the heel turn. I like the story. I like Rhea Ripley kind of controlling him. I like that.
Jeeves.
Ash Jeeves. I like that
Jeeves,
aspect of the story.
The best wrestling match of all time.
And even though Dom lost that match, which he should have, they have made Judgment Day, since Triple H has taken over, look strong. And they've made Judgment Day look like a formidable faction. At least they are losing a bit too many of their matches, but like Finn Balor defeated Matt Riddle in the opening show, which I think was a big win for him, but it was a big win for that group. They needed a big win. But they have at least been presented better since Triple H has taken over. And at the end of the night, they did stand tall. They wrote Edge off. He's going to be out for probably a month or so. Kayfabe injury, fake injury, wrestling injury, but like, he's going away for a little bit. So it did its purpose. I just don't know. I don't know where Dom goes from here. Unless you just have him kind of be just Rhea's boy. And Rhea's bitch. And then they just kind of lean into that where he does minimal stuff without, others around or things of that nature. But they gave him a standalone promo and they gave him a main event match and neither were particularly good.
He
neither
wouldn't
were
even be
particularly
here if
good.
it wasn't for Ray. Let's be
Oh
honest.
my God, yeah. I mean, if he wasn't
But
Ray's kid, we never know who we don't know
that's
who he
where
is.
I just don't. They need to pay it off soon. I think they need to pay it off sooner rather than later, just so that they can figure out what to do with Dom. I have no problem with Dom following Rhea around for a while. That's fine with me. Like, we don't see that very often.
from three pretty decent talents, by
Right,
the way,
yeah.
in Priest, Balor, and Ripley. But there's elements of this story that I really am fascinated with. Like, I know it's simple and it's been done before, but I do like the fact that
Born a
Ray
Dom
does not
just
want to
become a
touch Dom.
stud.
Like, he doesn't want to touch. He
Yep.
doesn't want to touch Dominic. He's like, I will not do this to my son. And that moment when Dominic keeps fighting, and then Ray finally snaps is going to be pretty cool because, I mean, it's hard pressed to find a better babyface than Rey Mysterio.
Yep. Especially at this stage, like, everyone knows that he's somewhat close to the end. He has to be.
He's probably the only person in WWE's history that's never been a heel.
Yeah.
No.
At least in our modern brains have gone like, there's no one that doesn't turn. Like, everyone turns. Rey Mysterio will never be a heel.
They're building him up to get the sympathy when he snaps. Like, okay,
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Like, as a father, right? Like, we don't, like, I don't know, when my kids get frustrated, they've hit me when they're younger, the younger ones and stuff. And you get, I'm not gonna clothesline them. They're my boys. My 14-year-old, like.
But there's a little part of you that's just like,
right. There is that little part where you're just like, whoa, I wish, So he's got that. It's his son. It's his son in real life. It's his son in storyline. And like Dom, if they just keep needling, he's gonna snap because obviously that's where we're going, father-son matchup. But when he snaps, we're still going to be like, good for you, Ray. Fuck Dominic, because
beat up your kid.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be a weird vibe in the arena that day where everybody's like, yeah, beat your son's ass.
Yeah. And it'll be great. And I feel like now this will be the test for Dominic Mysterio, because if you can't have a good match with your father, if you've been training with for a long time, get out of wrestling.
Maybe this has more to do with Ray's ability to train. That adage where they're like, legends don't make great coaches.
Sure, but
you would think that growing up around Ray,
I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna put this on Rey Mysterio.
I can't. I don't think I can.
I'm not putting that narrative.
I don't
in
think
the
I
world.
can either.
I'm just throwing things out
I am
there.
not putting this on Rey Mysterio.
Kumbaya.
I'm pretty sure the Mysterios are not singing
Jordan would be a
Kumbaya.
Shitty basketball coach. He's a terrible owner.
It's true. It's true.
Basketball references.
His kids did not.
Wait,
do
Josh,
very
you said
well.
you're going to try to get more into basketball.
I'm gonna try. I mean,
who are you gonna roll with? I love basketball.
I don't know. My brother goes for the San Antonio Spurs, so that's who he likes. So I feel like I almost am kind of. But my little brother likes the Clippers.
Okay.
I'm a Rockets fan, so if you go Spurs, we're rivals.
Here's the thing with me and basketball, because I have no city affiliation here. I can kind of choose wherever. I'm going to choose the stuff that looks the best color-wise.
Why don't you go with Josh Giddey in the Oklahoma?
Yeah, I was going to say Oklahoma City Thunder could be up there for you.
I mean, Josh Giddey where is Giddey? She should probably be here at some stage, but. I mean, I still find that really weird. That's my name and my cat's name, and you played for Adelaide.
And he's
at
an
some
NBA
stage.
player. Yeah, and he's good.
There's
a
meme out there with their heads swapped.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It is really odd, and it's just like, what? And you played for the 36ers. I know he played for the Adelaide 36ers at some stage.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
And they're on the come up, man.
They're on the come up, although they lost.
Is he good, by the way?
He is good. He's like a good young player.
Yeah, he seems like the fastest player to 100 steals, 100 points. Like for his age.
Yeah, for his age,
he's not a prolific scorer, but he can pass the ball with the best of them. So.
Yeah. Is that good in basketball?
Yeah, you need players that can facilitate.
Still score, but he's not going to give you 30 a night. But he'll give you a triple double. He's a triple double guy. That's good.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
He's pretty good, and that team's got a lot of good youth. They should be good in a couple of years, hopefully. We'll see. But
come and love wrestling, and we'll talk coffee and basketball.
Basketball is going to be fun to me because I can just choose the most attractive team, and then I'll go for them.
That's true.
I don't do that in footy because I love my footy, but like,
all right,
in basketball, I can do
show
that.
idea. The season starts soon. We'll have to have you back on. We will gather team photos of
Ooh,
like,
yeah,
Oh,
all
yeah.
right.
We'll,
Yeah.
I can
we'll
go
put them up
purely
on the
aesthetic.
screen.
I'm
and
going
we're
to objectify some men, and it's going to be great.
I'm not
You
kidding.
know?
Let's do this. We'll mark it down. We'll have a basketball preview. Josh will pick the teams based on looks, and we'll see
Yeah.
how
all
they
right.
finish.
Yeah.
And you got to give me no skin in the game of who's good, by the way. I just
No,
gotta
we won't.
be
We'll
Okay.
just show you
flawless fan.
pictures of like the starting five
sick.
of each team,
Sick.
and you can just be like, "All right, I like what I'm seeing here.
All right,
Let's go."
let's go. And they'll be
Oh,
my
yes.
team. And when they win the NBA playoffs, is that what it's called?
Yes,
I
It is.
think.
NBA finals.
The NBA
when they
finals for
win,
James
I'll be
Smith.
like, get absolutely wrecked. By these people and they won.
There we go.
So
You know,
stay-
tonight
stay
so
tuned
far
for
on the
that.
first 35 minutes of Beards, we've had good coffee talk, wrestling talk, basketball talk, hitting the gamut tonight.
I burnt my finger on a sparkler.
Yeah, I could tell that you dropped that and you were going to burn down your basement, so you put that shit
Wait a
out with
minute,
your
is
fingers.
this the first appearance of that beautiful Divas title?
I think
on
this is
show?
technically the
so,
first
yes.
appearance of your new setup in general on Love Wrestling, I think.
Yeah, actually, it probably
Because you
is.
moved.
Yeah, I did move like
Yeah.
6 months ago, but it
Yeah.
has been a while.
Yeah. So this
I
is
have
the
a
first time
beautiful-
we've seen.
Let me.
Oh
This-
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
You got to
'cause-
see this belt. You got to see this belt, gang.
This is like my
I've
prized
seen
possession.
the belt. You did the Shawn Michaels with it.
I did do the Shawn
Yes,
Michaels, and I really was
yes.
free balling under there, if anyone was wondering. But this is my beautiful Bella Twins Divas title. It's
Look
got
at
like
that.
Bree Mode and Fearless
Look
Nikki, and
at
it's
that.
beautiful and plaid. It says Bella Army in there. As the Bella stand that I am, and you are, Pluggo, by the way.
This is true.
I have this cost me a lot of money, and it's like it's a heavy piece of crap.
Oh, yeah.
Like I love this thing. Like, and
I like the inside of the straps, like the red and black, like the
it
design
says
there.
Bella. Yeah, it says Bella Army.
Oh, all right. That looks
can
pretty
see.
cool, like the colors and yeah. All right.
I
and
love
like-
it. That's dope.
This is my prized possession that I'd never get rid of. As you can see, there's like a case for it. They
Yeah.
come in. It says Bella Twins. Yeah, and it looked like, I know some people hate the Divas title, but this actually looks genuinely cooler than the Divas title.
I would agree.
But this is my prized possession. But there you go, Love Wrestling.
Hey-o. That's how we roll. You
I was
had
gonna say
mentioned
too the carpet. Yeah, I didn't want to burn the house down. Mrs. Pluggo comes down here yelling at me. Like, we
Oh,
don't want
God.
that
I mean,
tonight.
yeah, I mean that would have been a hectic scene. More importantly, your health could have been at risk.
Eh.
But Josh, you did mention one Seth freaking Rollins. You
Is he
did
still
also
that?
Yes, he is still Seth freaking Rollins. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's rough.
People are getting their first names back, but he's still keeping that middle name, baby. As of right now, he's still keeping us that middle name. And you also said that he is the best wrestler in the world currently.
He is. And I
which-
stand by that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree that he ain't up there. Obviously, they set up that he's going to be heading towards the United States Championship and Bobby Lashley. That's the direction they're going there, which makes sense as long as Roman is still the champion. You know,
And just for
we already did Rollins and Roman. I would like to see it again if we could, but like down the line maybe. But we've done that. So how do we feel about Rollins going to the U.S. title? How do we feel about, just him kind of going after a mid-card title?
You can go first.
I was just
feel
gonna
like
say
Pluggo
I was gonna tease. It's called a tease.
Oh, you teasing something, bro?
Josh said Seth Rollins is the best wrestler in the world. He is currently ranked 17th in the PWI 22 edition, top 500.
Yeah.
How do you say that? The top 500 of 2022.
Yeah.
We're gonna break that down here in a little bit, but yeah,
Was
what
he
do you think?
17?
17.
Oh, that's too low. That's
Well,
too low.
but yeah, so go ahead, Josh. How do you feel about the mid card? I'm going for mid card because Lashley, I liked that interaction on Monday.
Oh, I did
between
too.
him
I
and
like
Lashley.
that.
I thought
I like
that
that.
was the way to present
Yeah.
this feud. Just it was very to the point. No frilly, nothing, no shenanigans.
Yeah.
Business.
It's I don't like, this is where I tap out on the internet wrestling side of things, is because I get really annoyed. It's like everyone screams that they want the title to be the main thing. They want it to be the main focus. But then when it actually does, they're like, Seth Rollins is stepping down. I'm like, but it's not him stepping down. It's him bringing the title up. Bobby Lashley is the champion. He was main eventing WrestleMania at some stage, or at least in a key match at WrestleMania just last year. Like, if you want the titles to be elevated, you have to have people that seem bigger than the title to bring it up to the main event slot, especially when we have both main championships on one person, which I don't hate. I think there honestly should only be one main title.
I'm on that side too. I think there should be one. Yeah,
that's just me. What's the point of having 2 world championships? That makes no sense. But they want the United States title to be elevated. In the last few months, WWE's done a great job at elevating both that and the actually most of their championships, I'll say, because the women's tag titles have been in the scene, and the Intercontinental and blah blah blah. They've done a good job at that. So elevating this Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley is a world title feud. So it automatically, if Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley are both scratching and clawing to be the United States champion, it just makes us go, well, maybe we should be paying attention to the United States championship. It's been in with the Miz and Bobby Lashley in that main event in Steel Cage, and AJ, and there's been open challenges and blah blah blah. So I am all for it. I have no problem. I want people. It should be more common practice to have people going for the other championships. The Intercontinental Championship when I was growing up. So I grew up in just after the Attitude Era, so I guess the Ruthless Aggression Era, like people like Christian and Jericho and RVD, Shelton Benjamin, they all were Intercontinental Champions, sure, but there was matches for the Intercontinental Championship with the likes of world champions like Eddie Guerrero, and not that we like talking about him too much, but Chris Benoit and people like that were in matches for the IC title while going for world championship opportunities. So I feel like it's not out of the ordinary for people to do so. And the Intercontinental Championship, if there was an IC title match on Raw in 2003, it was the main event of the show.
100%. 100%.
Like, and unless for some reason there was something else going on that night, it was 9 times out of 10. And even going, so it's not uncommon for this to happen.
Yeah, it was always that way. Because even like I'm 10 years older than you. I started watching wrestling in the early 90s. You had the guys that were fighting for the Intercontinental Championship in the early 90s were Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect. Like those guys, specifically Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, they're considered 2 of the greatest to ever do professional wrestling, multi-time world champions all over the place. The fact that if they were regular occurrences, Roddy Piper was an Intercontinental champion. Macho Man was an Intercontinental champion. These are all-time people that were Intercontinental champions, and they mattered. Like at one point, like the Intercontinental Championship main evented the last pay-per-view that was in Europe before Clash at the Castle. It main evented that pay-per-view, and the world title had a match on that show, and they main evented. Like it's the Intercontinental title has always mattered. It's mattered to some people more than the world title.
How about this though? Just for funsies, what if the internet wrestling community existed in that time frame? Would we be saying the same shit? Like, why is Bret Hart dumbing himself down to the Intercontinental title? And
more than likely.
I mean, maybe not though, because at that time, at least things were situated that the Intercontinental title was like, it was presented in a way that like you were next man up almost. Like, hey, you're the wrestling champion, like you're the wrestler's title. Yeah, but you're also like a future, like you're the next man. You're one of the future up here guys. You know what I mean?
But Josh nailed
the titles have been dumbed down so much in the last 5-10 years that it does look like a step down.
If you're not
because they were dumbed down so much.
You're not going to have a main title on your show.
How many WrestleManias have there been in the last 5 years where the Intercontinental title wasn't even defended?
Well, this past
they were always in like a ladder match, or they're always
exactly like where there hasn't been a big time one-on-one.
I mean, Big E and Apollo was like the first one that had any kind of substance in it for a long time.
I was going to say Cena was the last guy that I remember being that elevated that had a U.S. title run.
Yeah, U.S. title.
U.S. title, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, it's on
talking...
the US title and IC title will always be on the same level to me, whether people want to, they can have whatever. But there's two histories there that are very different from one another that have the same level of equity, in my opinion. But it's not about what the title used to do. It's about what you do with the title tomorrow. That's my opinion on championships. Sometimes you do need the person to make the championship. Sometimes they try and make the championship make the person. I don't think it goes hand in hand. I think there's always different scenarios for different things, but you just need to present it in a way that make us give a shit. And I feel like we have been told in the last few months to give a shit about certain things, and mid-level titles are one of them.
Pluggo,
if not the best thing that
did you hear that?
Oh, we heard
Yes,
that.
I heard
Somebody
it.
screaming at somebody up there. We got arguments going on.
What's going on?
Is that mom putting the kids in order?
Owen might be popping off up there. I don't know, causing a ruckus.
And we got Carl and Turnbuckle. And this is
she must have heard she must have heard the Rey Mysterio talk. Oh, we can hit our kids. No. She would never do that.
Carl says back then though there was really only the World and IC for singles titles. Today, 2 Worlds, IC, US, 24/7, NXT, and even if we're talking about other companies, AEW has a ton of titles on their show. So it does seem like there's so many championships sometimes that is going to hinder prestige of stuff as well. So that's a good point by Carl. But I do think immediately, what was the first thing we saw on like the first real Raw? That
a video package
for the video package for the US title. And it was that's like, all you need. Holy shit.
It was, I think I'm not going to speak for everybody. JPJ and I have many conversations about wrestling, even not on our show, just off air.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need big complex things to make us matter. It just takes it could take 30 seconds. Just go, explain to me why that's important, or explain to me why this story matters, or explain to me why this person did what they did.
Simple.
Like something and I took away from Raw, not the match, because Sonya and Bianca was not good.
It was not that great.
Sonya, oh man. And Bianca was visibly irritated in that match, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, something that I liked is that, okay, so there was the open challenge. Sonya came out. If this was the old regime, we would have heard nothing about what happened 6 months ago with Sonya and Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
But they referenced it and said, hey, you cost me my job as an official. Yeah. And how long did that take? 6 seconds?
Yeah, I was going to say 5 seconds.
6 seconds for her to make that sentence come out of her mouth, and that was it.
Yep. Simplicity is...
And that was already made me go, okay, this match matters now. Regardless of what the outcome was in terms of like the actual match, it made me just go, okay, I have a reason for Sonya and Bianca to be fighting, other than it just being a random open challenge title match to get Bianca on the show, because that's all it was there for. That's all it's designed for. I know this is going into a very different argument, but I'm sure you bring it up at some point. WWE needs to either go, we need a hard draft with everybody, and we need to really shake things up and have people exclusive to their brands, except for the double champions. I understand that, or the women's tag champions or whatever. Or we need to just abolish it all and have everyone wrestle everybody.
Yeah.
Because I'm sick of this whole, sometimes they apply, sometimes the rules apply, and sometimes I don't know if that's done by design. So then they can go, there's been too much of this lately. We need a draft, and it's done on purpose. Or if they're going into the territory of like, maybe it's time that we end the draft. I'm for a brand split personally. I think there's too much talent to have them. It'll just be the same people on the same show. But also, if you're not going to treat the rules the same for everybody, excluding the champions that can go back and forth.
Yeah, just you write the show. You can say these people can
that's the thing with wrestling, opposed to, so you guys watch a lot of sports. I watch my AFL and stuff like that. Here's the beauty of professional wrestling, that why I don't think it's a sport. You literally dictate the rules. You can change them whenever you want. You can't change the rules of sport on a whim.
Yeah.
You can change them to fit whatever story you need to. As much as that frustrates us, that's the television aspect of this product that we're watching. You can change or fit within the diameter of your rules as much as you see fit or don't see fit. Like, how many times do you see a fatal 4-way tag match, and sometimes it's 4 people in the ring, sometimes it's 2? Yeah. You can do that on a week-to-week basis, and we just have to put up with that stuff. That's not just WWE. That's wrestling across the board. They fit it to what they need it to be for that given night. That's the difference between sports and stuff. If you want to draft, you can set the rules. Say openly display the rules saying, hey, this person can float, this person can't. Make it as complex or as simple as you want it to be, but you can set the rules. But regardless of what rules there are, respect them. That's how I feel as a viewer. Because you wouldn't see in any, so you would, for example, the sitcom Friends, okay? Rachel at one point lived with Monica. In the next episode, you wouldn't just see her living with Phoebe and nobody says anything.
Yeah.
That's how I view it, though. That's
Yeah.
the same. You're respecting the rules. Rachel lives with Monica. She cannot live with Phoebe one episode and then just go back with no explanation.
Yeah.
You set the parameters of what you want us to consume. That's all I need. Wrestling is a sitcom in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's entertainment. You know, we obviously like the physical wrestling part of it. Duh, that excites us too. But it's a story. It's a show. We're watching a television show with multifaceted stories. That's what we're watching. So
simple as easy. Make it make sense. If you're going to implement a rule, respect. It's all, and this is all stuff that I have faith that Triple H is going to instill. And I think the people that are out there being naysayers about WWE still, it's kind of silly because it's getting better. There's some weak spots, but it's getting better. It's making more sense. I think eventually, I don't know if they have a draft on the books or not. I don't know.
The rumor was that they did, but now they're not going. They might not do it until after Mania. So it seems like this is going to be how it. Again, things can change. Obviously, we'll see.
Well, even the draft, even if they do that, they need to have that make sense too, because they were making some like weird picks and weird things, and they didn't explain it. But I got faith in Triple H as a whole. I think he'll figure it out. He's got my attention more than I think he's had in the last 6. They've had in the last 6 months.
Oh my God, yeah, 6 months, 6 years. 6 years are probably.
I still give him a shot. I'm just saying.
100%. 100%.
For me, it's always been like, all right, like I'll catch it up later. Like I don't. Yeah. But now I'm kind of like, oh, I'm keeping an eye. If I'm busy on Monday night, I'm still keeping an eye.
Yeah.
Glued to it, trying to figure it out because who knows who's coming back. Hab guy in the house,
and Hab guy says he thinks they have to get the titles separated first before they do a draft. That they could, but I am of the oak, and Josh had mentioned it a little bit earlier. Good to see you, Hab guy, by the way. I like the one world champion, and then he should float and rotate opponents from whatever, one month is Raw, 1 month is SmackDown, or he just floats. He's the guy that's on both shows of the week. There should be one main champion, and it shouldn't. And again, I'm not saying it shouldn't be Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns is of that caliber, but it should be somebody who's there every week. It should be somebody who's on the show, and like maybe for Extreme Rules. And again, they don't have to like keep it to a schedule that it is every other, but like if he's feuding with the SmackDown guy for the month of Extreme Rules, guess what? He's going to be on SmackDown that month. You know what I mean? And then Raw can elevate the U.S. title for the month or whatever. And then if the next guy ends up being a Raw story, then same shit. He's on Raw for the next month and, whatever, however they do it. But I think the women's tag title should float. The world championship should float. And then the IC and US should be on whatever show they're going to be on. And that's like that show's belt. Yeah, and I think that's how you do it. I think that's how you do it.
Guys saying, he prefers the one champ as well, but with different
And
networks.
again, that is something about it that we don't talk about. A lot. Some people don't. We haven't. That could be a network thing too. That could be USA saying. But again, if they float and they're on whatever, networks are greedy. I wouldn't be shocked if they're like, nope, not good enough. But if the networks start getting involved, where they're like, well, no, we want a world champion on our show every week. And then it's like, oh, well, fucking all right. We'll make 2 then. Jesus. Like it'll be on your show, just not every month.
Nope. 2. It was kind of weird when they're like universal title. Like, did you need that?
I think Fox
was that right? Was that the Fox?
I think it was a little before.
That was way before. That was like 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, they did it.
Finn Balor, baby, the red strap.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that was just because they were gonna
out of nowhere
try to make both shows matter. I guess then.
Here we go. It's
yeah.
Like, why? All right, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, we talked about most of Raw, and you mentioned you trust Triple H. Well, one thing that Triple H has done that I have thoroughly enjoyed since he's taken over is how they are presenting Kevin Owens. I love Kevin Owens. He's been my favorite main roster guy for a while now. And they're presenting him. He's cutting these really great promos week after week. Austin Theory's been kind of the aim of him for the last few weeks, which I think that's a good little mini feud for Austin Theory. I think eventually it's going to be Gargano and Theory are going to have a main feud here. But I do think Owens, the promo he cut on Monday, basically saying everything was handed to you and it's not that way anymore. And you're going after Gargano. Well, guys like me and Gargano, our moments matter and all, stuff like that. They weren't handed to us. We had to earn it. And I just think, yeah, like Hab guy said, it's just Owens being great. And he's always been great. He got Ezekiel over. You understand? Like, he's always been great, but he is being presented as the prize fighter. Kevin Owens they're referencing how long it's been since he's had a title. He's referencing his universal title reign. Like, he's heading back up there. And, the promo he cut on Monday was unbelievable. The passion he had behind it, the emotion behind it, it was incredible stuff. I loved it. Most people did. What'd you guys think of Owens on Monday and just how Owens has looked over specifically the last 3 to 4 weeks since kind of coming back under Triple H's creative?
I thought Pluggo was going to go.
It was pop quiz, guys.
I was reading the Have guys
pop quiz.
He fixed his comment. No, I think you said it all right there. I think we all stand for Kevin Owens here, and they're presenting him in a big light. I just really want to see him sink his teeth into a actual really juicy story. I want to get him into that main event. I'd love to see him and
Sami Zayn versus the Usos. That's what.
Yeah,
that's
but
I
would eventually. I'd like to see him get back involved with Roman.
I would.
I thought it was good when they did it last time. Imagine
I agree.
What they could do this time with Triple H under.
I would not be. I thought Drew should have been the guy at Castle. I leaned that way, but I would not be opposed to. Again, if the plan is they're not going to have the titles involved, if Rock is involved next year, I would not be opposed to Kevin Owens being the guy that takes those titles or takes one of those titles off of Roman Reigns, because there is a history to it. They reference it quite often. And, the whole thing of Roman's reign, no pun intended, has been that he hasn't won many matches. He hasn't won many matches clean, if any. But those matches against Kevin Owens, those stick out to me as Owens had him. Owens had him multiple times. And if it wasn't for bullshit with Heyman in a handcuff or the Usos or Jay Uso at the time, those stick out to me as Owens should have won. Clearly Owens should have won those matches. So, yeah. Oh my God. I would love it. I love Kevin Owens. But
Vince would be pissed.
How do you think Vince is? Do you think he watches the show every week and he's like, what are they doing?
Yeah. I imagine if you're in it for that long.
I don't think he is.
Yeah, hell, he wasn't watching the show when he was there.
Vince is so old,
seemed it.
Man. He's not. Vince is.
I don't know, but you slept, and breathed wrestling for your entire life. I think you still pay attention to it. It'd be hard to get out of it. You think?
Josh, anything? Sure. Go ahead, Pluggo.
No,
go.
I was just gonna say I'm pretty sure Peyton Manning still watches football all the time.
Yeah,
but Tom Brady, when he's out, he'll still watch the game.
Yeah. Anything else on your mind that you wanted to talk about tonight, Josh? I know we dove into Raw there. We kind of went through most or all of Raw. Anything that's been, because it has been a while. It has been a while since you've been here.
I don't watch NXT. I know NXT's kind of being rebranded again.
They had that new graphic where they got everybody excited
to get apparently they're doing some renovations.
Yeah. I want to hear your thoughts on AEW. You said you weren't going to do it. I want to hear you do it.
Oh no, because people get so mad at me.
That's fine. I'm not going to get mad at you. I would never get mad.
I don't watch it. I don't watch it because I don't think it's as good as everybody jerks it off to be.
It's fair.
It's the same show every single week, and they treat women like dirt.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck anymore. There's no sugarcoating this bullshit to me anymore. You can tell me any kind of narrative you want to spin on them booking women. They've had this show for 3.5 years, and you still book women like they're just an afterthought. Get absolutely wrecked.
It's fair.
And Tony Khan needs to have his Twitter account taken away. He's an imbecile who runs a $1 million company. Stop. That's all my thoughts. I don't like it.
I'm not just going to sit here and take this fucking shit. All right. No, I'm just kidding. No.
You're a professional, and I just don't understand how you can. And your company's clearly in shambles. There's clearly
I'm trying to run a business here, Josh, and you're just back there like you're the kids.
Oh yeah,
by the way, that's what Tony Khan does. You say one bit of criticism towards anything, and he's like, "Get absolutely fucked! I can't stand this. I do not do that. Look at the facts." It's like, but this is what I'm saying is that I don't like when people give me on the women argument is like the WWE only had a 3-minute match here and but okay, sure. If you're looking at, it's not about match times or anything like that. Women are constantly opening. They're the hour breaks and they're the closing the shows on shows and pay-per-views for WWE, and they have been consistently, even when WWE was fucking dirt, they were still, they've never, I wouldn't say never, in the last few years, they haven't really regressed too much in terms of like, sure, there's been ebbs and flows, but AEW have done 2 women's main events, and they both include Britt Baker. Yeah. Okay. By the way, there's another person who's not as good as everyone seems to think. Oh, but Britt's great. Britt is a mediocre wrestler with a fantastic character. And that's not a knock on Britt. There's a lot of people that are mediocre wrestlers that have fantastic characters, and they are Hall of Famers and they go down as the greats. But when you build your division around one woman and then you have a few others and then wonder why people aren't getting over, it's probably a fault of not booking women correctly. And I'm not saying that I could do it any better than, well, actually, no, I could book women better in AEW than Tony Khan books women in AEW, because he's never done it right. There's never been a point in time where I've gone, oh, it's finally happening. Here we go. They're going to be opening. Have the women in AEW ever opened up a Dynamite?
I do not believe so.
Maybe.
No, they haven't.
Maybe one? No, but I don't think so.
Has a women's story in AEW ever been the main story in AEW?
No.
Maybe Rosa Britt,
maybe.
Hold
on. There's a maybe there, and that's a problem.
Well,
okay.
Right.
In WWE, how many times have you gone, the women's story right now is the A story in WWE?
Oh, wow. Becky Lynch was the most important person on the show when she was.
If you look at Becky Lynch's comeback of her category of matches from SummerSlam 2021 to SummerSlam 2022, she was constantly main eventing. She was constantly having the best match on the show. The women in AEW are not doing that. A, they're not presented as one, and B, I don't think their talent pool is as great as everybody seems. It's always like the talent is so great, but the booking is poor. Yes, the booking is really poor, but I don't think the talent pool is as great as everybody says. They have a weird group of women that don't all mesh together that well. There's great women, but there's also some really subpar women. And that's not a knock. Being a women's wrestling fan that I am, and that's what I care about the most, doesn't mean that I need to make it clear that every woman in the world is a great wrestler. No, there's terrible wrestlers that are women. There's terrible wrestlers that are men. There's fantastic wrestlers that are women and fantastic wrestlers that are men. And there's a whole bunch in between. It's about treating it with the equal respect that it deserves. That means equal criticism and equal gain and equal positiveness towards it, whatever you want to call it. But the women in AEW are garbage for a multitude of reasons. And for what I like in wrestling, there is no point in me watching something like that when I get my fix of what I need to over here, because I don't want to watch 30 hours of wrestling a week. It has no interest to me. I want to watch a minimal stuff that I get maximum gain. And that's what I get with WWE. And WWE is not perfect. Also, AEW is the same show every week. Whenever I watch Dynamite, I'm like, this is the segment. This is the next segment. It's like match, backstage segment, match, talking promo, run-in, backstage segment, match. Bitch, do something different. Just do something different. And their booking is the same too. The same people, the same stories have the same outcomes all the time. They think AEW is this fantastic place for storytelling. They have better wrestling, sure. Well, in some aspects, they have better wrestling, sure.
Yeah.
And I don't think their storytelling is as grand as everybody says. But that's my opinion on AEW, and that's why a lot of people have unfollowed me on Twitter. So that's fine.
You know, it's fine. I mean, it's a valid AEW. I would say
You're
this.
allowed to like and dislike what
Yeah,
you want.
and look, I still like AEW, but Pluggo and I have been very vocal about how they still don't give one shit about the women's division.
Yeah.
They don't. And Pluggo and I have been vocal week after week. Like they get one match a show. Now it's instead of 9:30, sometimes. Yeah, exactly. And look at MJF is a top guy. I get it, but yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. Like MJF gets like his third group now, where you can't focus on like an extra story. Obviously, MJF deserves a story on the show. Duh. He's MJF. But you know what I mean? Like, instead of doing stuff like that or the same old stuff, why don't you incorporate more women's stories? Why is there only, it feels like there's one women's story for Dynamite usually and one women's story for Rampage. And Jay Cargill is usually the one on Rampage and Britt Baker is usually the one on Dynamite. And it's like, even when Thunder Rosa was the champion, who, you know, a lot of people that watch Thunder Rosa like Thunder Rosa. She's pretty friggin' good and she rules, right? The character's cool. She wasn't even presented on the show. She barely wrestled on Dynamite. They would give her a 2-minute backstage segment instead of actual meaningful stories. And like Josh said, you know, when he was asked about it on the media call before All Out, he went into one of his Tony Khan tirades where he was like, well, you know, I booked the show to ratings, and you know, an 8-minute promo at CM Punk is going to do better ratings than an 8-minute promo.
But how do you know?
And it's one of those things
that it's not. How do you know that it's not going to do a better rating than CM Punk if you never give them a chance to let it happen?
The reason why,
let them fucking be buried.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Is like if they fail, don't give them opportunities. But if they're gaining whatever you merit success, let them have the opportunity.
Yeah.
I put up a thing about that Thunder Rosa. I'm like a 45-second promo doing the same thing that CM Punk did in 8 minutes is not the same. And people were like, oh, but they're not big, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, but this is the problem here, is that a portion of AEW's fan base is now drilled into the fact that it's not the same. And I'm not saying that CM Punk and Thunder Rosa are on the same level. No, but unless you give them an opportunity to be on the same level, they will always, it's like what we said with the US and IC titles. If you just give us a little bit of time to explain why something's important, we'll make it matter to us. Yeah. You're telling us that Thunder Rosa is worth 45 seconds or however long it was. And CM Punk is worth 8-9 minutes to do exactly the same thing, by the way.
Oh yeah,
they did exactly the same.
Well, that's what TV shows are. Every minute or every second is like a dollar sign, right? And it's all
sure.
So that's and Tony Khan is not giving them an opportunity to see if maybe they can make some of these dollar signs. It's all this precious real estate. But yeah, it was really dirty the way they did Thunder Rosa. And there were rumors that Thunder Rosa wasn't happy with the way she's been presented while she was champ.
Would you be?
I wouldn't. I'm a Thunder Rosa stan. I love Thunder Rosa, so absolutely, I wanted more Thunder Rosa on my show. But,
I think a lot of us did.
But I will say this to all that criticism, and I'm because I'm a fan of AEW, but I think what happened with CM Punk and the Young Bucks is going to make Tony realize, okay, we got to change. Like we can't keep doing that. So maybe we'll start. The shows have been better the last couple weeks. The women's stuff still needs some serious work. You didn't need Jay Lethal and Jungle Boy on Dynamite. You could have had a second women's match, or you could have made at least the women's match you had have some real story to it. You pinned your champion, made Tony Storm kind of look foolish there.
Also, interim champions are fucking stupid.
Okay.
What's the point?
Well,
just strip the champion. They can't defend the title. They need to be stripped of the title, and you have a champion, and then they can come back and fight it. An interim champion? What is the fucking point of that? Yeah, I just that doesn't make sense to me.
UFC does it, so they're
I think that's kind of why
wrestling isn't a sport. Oh my god, that's how I view it. I don't want to be hammered that wrestling is a sport, and people can think what they want to, but wrestling is not a sport. It's not. It's a television show.
It's true. No,
you're not wrong. Like everything you're saying is definitely not wrong. And I think if you're,
I'm not trying to be right. I'm not correcting anything that I'm saying. It's just my opinion on things. And I know that if I feel this way, there's at least someone else that feels the same. And I know that I surround myself on Twitter with like everybody, you surround yourself with people that you want to interact with. But I follow a lot of women's wrestling accounts that feel very similar to me. And it's not just the women that I don't like being treated well in A. That's not my only criticism of AEW. However, I'm just saying that I know that a lot of people feel very similar to me, and they're just like, we're not getting our fix. AEW say they're for everybody in the sense of like, we cater to every portion of wrestling fan. They're really not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the hardcorest of wrestling fans that are getting their fix of 70 flips in a match. Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't disagree with anything you're saying. And hopefully, like Pluggo said, hopefully the bad thing that happened a couple weeks ago, opens Tony's eyes or opens people behind the scenes that are next to Tony that are like, okay, we need to kind of rehabilitate our image here, because their image has taken a major, major hit. And yeah, there have been a lot of injuries. One interim champ wouldn't have been a bit. Yeah. And I think that's been the problem with that too, is like, it feels like there's been back-to-back interim. Like, if they just did the interim champion thing with Moxley and that was the only one.
But they did it with Sammy Guevara too.
Yeah, they did it with Sammy Guevara, and now they're doing it with Thunder Rosa. So they just do it so much. It's like, okay, all right, let's relax. You know what I mean? But then I don't know if maybe they see the injury diagnosis and they're like, you're going to be out for a little bit, but not that long. So I don't know. I don't know the reason. I think like Pluggo said, and it leans into the sport part of it, how that they're leaning into that because UFC does it or other places do it, boxing and other places. We want to look legit or things like that of that nature.
Too
legit. Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. All right.
The Hammer reference in there as well.
I know. Well, I think we have something to announce. We have a match to announce.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. Okay.
We've gone a little bit over an hour, so we're past the halfway point of the show. But we do have a match that we are supposed to announce tonight.
Yes.
So Pluggo, I'll let you lead at that, because I know. God.
So I had an interesting interview last night with the LPW Challenge champion Mitch Clark. We're announcing here live on Between Two Beards that he will be facing T.Y. Jackson.
Yeah.
And Alex is now telling me he doesn't have the graphic.
Oh, JPJ versus Pluggo. That'll be coming down the line at some future LPW show. Whenever we can get up there, we'll be on the pre-show.
JPJ does.
Would you do an arm wrestling match on the pre-show? Did you just say I wouldn't? I don't want the smoke.
Wait, isn't this it right here? We're gonna. Yeah, check this out. Watch this, Alex. We'll just do this.
Uh-oh.
Are we not wrestlers? Yes, Jack Pride and Michael Richard Blaze, Nicole Matthews and Gigi Ray, who I just talked to as well. That comes out tomorrow, or it came out today.
Son of Irish versus Travis Williams.
Son of Irish, and I think it's right there. Mitch
there
Clark
it is. Boom.
Versus T.Y. Jackson for your LPW Challenge Championship. And we have the LPW Championship Tournament featuring Ryder and Sebastian. I'm not good at this. I'm not Excalibur, bro.
Mars and Surge versus the Clandestine Society. I can be Excalibur. Parrish and Bobby Sharp versus Garani and Shabazz. Yeah. And then we have the Voros twins versus the Bollywood Boys. That should be a good one. That should be a good one to crown the first ever LPW Tag Team Champions, all on September 30th at LPW. Are we not wrestlers? I'll be the Excalibur of this show if I need to be, Pluggo.
Well, I was doing fine, and then you just started chiming
You were doing fine until you insulted yourself at how bad you were doing.
I am not Alex, bro. I will walk on. I will take my ball and go to my dressing room, and Ace Steel will bite your ass.
Yeah.
We'll have Ace Steel bite your ass.
Oh, yeah. Josh, I guess I could... Oh, the Voros. Oh, you want to? Well, there you go.
Oh,
if you're ever near the Edmonton area, they are part of Love Wrestling. They have this will.
Yes, they are huge. Yeah. They're everywhere. They're huge on TikTok. The Voros twins rule.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, I did the interview with Mitch. That'll come out next week. The interview I did with Gigi Ray is already out. So go to the socials. We have a clip of it. We can play it here later. But
yeah.
The tournament, tournament. How do you say it? The tournament? The tournament. The tournament.
And those, we got a sneak peek of those LPW tag team belts. They are looking pretty. They are looking pretty.
Just like
yeah.
the three of us.
Should be good. Should be good. All right. Josh, we were going to dive into the PWI 500. I don't know if this has any interest
Sure,
in you,
I'm
my
here.
friend.
I
Okay.
have time.
I just wanted to make sure.
I'm here.
But we were going to dive in. So earlier, was it today? Yesterday they released the whole list, or today? Yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was today.
It was today. It was the whole
It was
list.
digital. It was digital. Yeah, I think either way, it was out either yesterday or today. I love this list. I build brackets and tournaments around this list. I read it every year. I'm so excited. I know that there is a subset of people that think it is a joke and a sham and yada yada yada. All I'm going to say to you is shut up. Like, it's cool. It's somebody's opinion or a group of people's opinion. Some of those people are our friends. But even if they weren't, it gives a shine to 500 wrestlers, some independents. And I've gotten to know quite a few people because of this list. Like, it's a good tool to like get to know new faces, new people, and it's out. And I thought we would dive into it, and everybody's got an opinion, a thought. And I love that they've recently in this 500 over the last couple of years have included women in the top 500. I still don't understand
because the women now have their own list as well. They do a PWI 150.
150 now. They just jumped to 150. But like Jordan Grace is 97 in this list, rightfully so, well deserved.
Yeah,
but she's not gonna, and she's the first woman listed in the 500. But she's not gonna be like the number one
woman on their own list.
But there is criteria, and I do have that graphic up. Alex, he did tell us in the chat that he didn't know we had that. I thought he did, so that's on me. I'll take that loss. Please don't be mad at me, Alex. But if you could show the graphic of what the criteria is for the list, so if our people watching understand where they're coming from, So the evaluation period is July 1st through June 30th. A minimum of 10 matches or 6 matches in separate months. Ranking is in-ring achievement, influence, technical ability, and competition. And I will say this, I don't know how long that graphic will stay up there, but I do know that they do take into sense like titles. The kayfabe is a big deal too. So like they see the WWE Universal title as the top title in the business. And then they rank it down. So.
All right. Good to go. All right. So we'll focus in on the top 10. Obviously, I feel like that's what we should start with. So the number one wrestler for the year of 2022 was one head of the table, Roman Reigns. I think I don't have an argument against it. Yes, I understand he kind of went part-timey towards the last, better half of this year. I understand that. But he has been the main guy in the main company for 2 years.
Consistency, and he's got both of the belts.
Held both the belts. He's been a champion throughout the whole calendar year. Obviously, he's had both the belts since April. It makes sense to me. I understand why some people will be like, "Oh, we're Roman." But he's the guy. He's the guy in professional wrestling,
and that's why they put in that caveat of the minimum. They used to not have that little caveat, the minimum or 6 matches and type things, because there is some holes in the said list, especially in this top 10 to top 20, where you could make an argument for like CM Punk at number 3.
Yeah, we'll get there. But so Roman Reigns is number 1. Number 2 is Kazuchika Okada, which he is obviously always towards the top of that list. Number 3 is CM Punk. Number 4 is Adam Hangman Page. Number 5 is Bobby Lashley. Number 6 is Cody Rhodes. Number 7 is Bryan Danielson. Number 8, I believe he works for AAA, is El Hijo del Vikingo. It's obviously Vikingo, but I don't know if they pronounce it a different way. I apologize if I butchered that by any means. Number 9 is Big E. And number 10 is Jonathan Gresham. So that's the top 10. Jon Moxley, I know there was a lot of talk on the interwebs because he came in at number 12. And you can make an argument that Jon Moxley has been one of, if not the best wrestler of this calendar year. And I know that this goes all the way back to June of last year, and he missed some time, obviously, because he had to take care of some personal stuff. and he missed some time. And I guess, they said he was never really a champion in the calendar window. But to me, I feel like Moxley not being in the top 10 is my biggest gripe with the list. I think, yes, he was gone for 2.5, 3 months or however long it was, but the 6 months that he was there, was it not top 5 stuff? Like, was it not some of the best wrestler in the world stuff? Like, I think.
So where do you put him?
This list isn't best wrestler in the world to me. This is just based on statistics and how many matches you won, how many big matches you won, how many championships you won. It's different from being like the list of like who is the greatest professional wrestler in the world, in my opinion. I'm not saying the list doesn't matter. This is a kayfabe list, really, in a sense. In a sense. That's how I view it. I don't think that lessens it at all. But I just think it's not the best wrestler in the world. It's not even the most winningest wrestler in the world. It's just almost like who has been booked the best in the world.
True. I mean, that, yeah.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
that's why
that is part of it, right?
And say they accolades. It's 100%. They operate in kayfabe, and I said, I know that,
and there's nothing wrong with that. By
the
way.
the list, to be fair, for years was very WWE heavy at the top. Like it was almost like
The Miz was the number one.
Right. Well, in that year, because he had the belt and he was main event of Mania. But I'm saying,
he was.
So I'm saying in the list in the years, the last few years, they've really started to recognize, especially with the addition of AEW came in, and that kind of really shook this list up. It would be a while before you would see anybody outside of Okada in that top 15, maybe Omega, but it was very WWE. It was, you could like go down the list and go, okay, there's the first guy that's not. I like to see that they're including other people. I mean, I haven't really seen any much of El Idolo or whatever. I don't want to butcher the name, but like Big E missed a lot of time too during this period, and he's 8. And
9.
9.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to like Cody's missing. Danielson's year has it. I mean, in terms of, we're talking a kayfabe list, he hasn't won any titles, and he's not won a lot of matches.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, even if you want to, I mean, like I said, I love this list, but like Cardona has an argument to be in the top 10. And
I wanted to talk about Cardona, because that's a guy who literally bet on him. He got released. And there was rumor that like right after he got released, WWE kind of reached back out a little bit and was like, hey, you maybe want to come back. And he was like, no, I'm good. I'm going to go bet on myself. And for what he's done, he's gone to Impact. He's obviously gone to GCW. The story he had with Nick Gage, you can make an argument that couple months, he was one of the most talked about. That was one of the most talked about stories in all of wrestling, was Cardona going to do deathmatch stuff and becoming the GCW champion with the shirt covered in blood. And it was like, what? And I feel really good for that guy. 13 is a good spot. I think you could make the argument that he maybe could have cracked the top 10, but I feel really good for him because he bet on himself and he took a chance on himself and he did a bunch of different shit that we were not expecting.
I think that's easily his highest ranking of his
career.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't think he's probably been, I'd have to, 100.
The year when he blew up and he became, I was at that Survivor Series in New York City where literally the louder pop was for him over the return of The Rock.
I will say this,
wrestling.
All the years that I've done a bracket, he's never made the 64.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's weird when they include, I don't want to segregate women and men, but it is hard to kind of have rack my brain around how this exactly works when there's certain women that I would put higher up than some of the men in the top 10 almost.
Yeah,
because in a kayfabe world, how does that
the reason so this is how they do it. They determine this is more of the women on these lists have more intergender matches. They've faced more men. That's why you don't see Charlotte Flair.
I was going to say
Sasha Banks.
Becky Lynch would be in this top 10.
For instance, let me use this. as an example, last year Trisha Dora was 45th on this list.
Yes.
Well deserved. She's a badass. She didn't crack the top 10 of the women's list.
Okay, I understand now.
Because
that was
she
just something-
wrestled Tony Deppen for an hour.
Yeah.
She had the intergender stuff going. So she had a body of work against the men in this list.
Okay,
So
I get you.
Like Kylie Ray's in this list. I know.
When does the PWI Women's 150
that'll
come out?
drop probably.
That's later, isn't it?
It's it's around January.
Yeah, that's like beginning
so
of the
like
year.
this, yeah, because they go, this is the fall list. They do this in the fall, and then right around the beginning of the year, maybe Christmas time, they'll drop the 150. I'm happy it's a 150. It used to be just 50.
It was 50, and then it went to 100 for a year or two,
and then it went to 150. And
so.
I have a feeling that's gonna.
We'll get there. Oh yeah, it'll keep building. Yeah.
You're not gonna digress. Like
exactly.
I don't work for PWI, but I know too much.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
shit.
And they say, and again, it's subjective. It's subjective. But they all
in this instance, yes, there is a little bit, but because we're working in statistics and stuff, you can't really argue with facts. Like you can't argue that this person won this many championships or this person won this many.
Yep.
If you were to do a best wrestler in the world list, there's no way that anybody would agree on a 500 man.
Well, you had Seth Rollins as best wrestler in the world,
but I don't think kayfabe wise, he's not even.
No, his character work is fantastic.
But like that's kayfabe, like winning or like winning. Sure, he's not in there. But if I'm just purely talking about what I like as a wrestling fan, it's completely subjective. I think there's no one better than
that's
Seth.
why this list is fantastic because it's all subjective. Even this, because they talk. There's some weird stuff that'll like you'll see it. Like I think it was 2 years ago. They had like Heath Slater and like Alberto Del Rio, but Alberto Del Rio didn't wrestle at all because he was hurt, and they were like right next to each other, like 140, 150, and it's like if he didn't wrestle all year, why is he in this list?
Yeah,
like it gets hairy towards like that really deep into it because then you're kind of like trying to decide, okay, is this independent wrestler's body of work, worth it? Does it merit some of these names? But I think over the last couple of years, because they've expanded the committee and they've brought in some new faces that they're really starting to really look at these things a little bit harder. And I can't argue. I mean, Seth Rollins, absolutely in terms of, but if his influence and all that stuff is the reason he's at 17, but he got booked for shit.
Yeah, he didn't win anything. He
lost
every big match he was in. It felt
like.
Kayfabe
world, he's not even in there. But like,
and Cody's at 6, and he beat Seth 3 straight times.
With one with a torn pec.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, this is I love diving into it. Shout out to AC Mac for being 25th.
Yeah, this is the only edition like that I physically get. I physically buy it and get it mailed to me every year so I can physically, because they give you the little snippets for each of the wrestlers. Obviously the top 10 guys get like their own pages and things like that, but you get a little snippet about everybody. And like Pluggo said, like over these last couple of years here at Love Wrestling, like I don't have a ton of access to Canadian professional wrestling. So becoming involved with this website and getting to know kind of a lot of the really top wrestlers in Canada has got me back in the mood of like, I want to find new wrestlers. I want to find wrestlers that I can kind of keep an eye on that one day I'll be watching on WWE television or AEW and stuff like that. And I think the PWI 500 is like, I used to subscribe to a music magazine called Alternative Press. And it was you probably know Pluggo. It was for screamo, post-hardcore, pop punk, that type of stuff. And every year in April, they would release an edition, and it would have the top 50 bands to look out for this summer. Yeah. And it was like up and coming bands that maybe you've heard of some and you were like, oh shit, I know that band. That's cool. And then there were other ones that were like, oh, I don't know what that is. And it would give you a little snippet and it would say, if you like this band, this band, this band, you might like this band. And I would be like, cool. And I would find new music year after year. Like I view this list as not only seeing where they rank the guys and girls that I have been watching for the last year on television as a wrestling fan, but also find those new people that in 2 or 3 or 5 years might end up in the top 10.
And in turn,
you know what I mean?
And in turn, for the people that are like against the list, it is such a cool day. Like I love this day when it drops.
Yeah.
All of
And
my
people get hyped for it. Like wrestling fans on social media.
No,
yeah.
not even that. The wrestlers, like the independent
Yeah.
wrestlers that I know and that I've interviewed over the years and got to know, like they get to post their number and it's just cool to validate it. But then you get stuff like this. So here's this is my other fun thing I love to do with this list.
All right, here we go.
Just in the dark, would you rather, who's a better wrestler, Will Ospreay or Braun Breaker? Just wrestler.
A better wrestler? Will Ospreay.
Well, he is ranked behind Braun Breaker by one spot on this list. And you look at that, and that's where the debate comes. Okay, knock, knock. Who's there? Three handsome dudes with integrity. Oh, frighteningly, I can't see.
Frighteningly large dongs, he said.
I got
he clearly doesn't know me that well. But Big Ben, always good to see you, my friend.
Hey, Big Ben,
love you, buddy.
If you could let it,
I don't know if I'd want a frighteningly large dong. I would want to take off my pants.
So that's the phrase that bothers me. Frighteningly means that even if somebody is like, yeah, they're going to be frightened by it, and they're going to be like,
I don't want someone to be scared of my penis.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to be.
If she
jumping.
goes like this, that's
not a good thing. Either way.
By the way, if I was taking off
was
taking off my pants and there was a she down there, I would be the one that was frightened, not her. But yeah, I wouldn't want to take off my pants. Someone goes, and then I'd be like,
"What the heck is that?" So I'd be like,
it'd be gone.
Big Ben, welcome to the chat.
I love it. He always brings the heat. Yeah, that's what he said. A gasp is good things, brother.
It depends on the context.
Now she's like,
oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Man. Big Ben, did you make the list while you're in the chat? I mean, you did work Ronda Rousey, worked your arm. Does that get you?
That is true. Big Ben did get the arm by Ronda Rousey.
We got to put some respect on Big Ben's name.
Well, I'm looking at some other names on the list. MJF came in at 16. We got Rollins at 17. Adam Cole.
MJF missed the whole summer, which
MJF
was the worst.
From Double or Nothing out.
Nobody. We respect you. We love you.
Yeah, we respect you.
We need you to come on Beards one of these times, so we show you all the love, sir. You just let us know when you're free. But the MJF thing, he's rapidly. I think next year, if they play it just right, because he's on the.
He'll be in top 3.
He should be a top 5
again
easy.
If they play it right. Oh, there you go. I mean, Speedball Bailey did have a year. He should have been ranked. I don't know where he came up.
Yeah, Speedball is 30, which
30. I mean, that's still a good number, but he should be a little better than that.
The reason alone, his work rate for WrestleMania weekend was insane, and he is so damn good. I love watching Speedball.
So here's my thing. So to round out the from 16 to 20, it was MJF 16, Seth Rollins 17, Adam Cole 18, Kenny Omega 19, and Drew McIntyre 20. So Kenny Omega, this goes from July to June, correct? So Kenny Omega was out from November all the way through June. So he was out for 7 of the 12 months that and I know Kenny Omega's been the number 1 wrestler twice he's done it more than once.
He's done it twice. He's been the number 1 wrestler twice, or he's been I don't think he's been lower. He was like 12th last year. Like that was like his lowest.
So he still cracked. He still cracked. And again, the caliber of wrestling that he was doing the previous year was obviously heralded, but like he missed 7 of 12 months of the year, but he was still able to crack the top 20. I don't know if that's because of reputation or just how good the 5 months were, which he was the champion the whole time. He had the best story in the history of AEW going with Hangman. It was the main story that in wrestling at the time that everyone cared about.
That when we did rankings, we couldn't leave him off.
It's true.
Because it was so good, and he's such a. And again, that's why they put in the caveat that there is influences involved here, and because again, Big E missed a bunch of time, but he held the top prize, and he was on fire before he got hurt. And like again, it's all subjective, but it's hard to have a 500 best wrestlers and not put Kenny Omega on it, even if he was hurt.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, but I will say this though: when you go into the 20s, like Jay White has a case to had a better year than Omega. Chris Jericho had a better year than Omega. Hell, AC Mack had a better year in terms of all the work rate that he was doing on the indies, held the IWTV title. I mean, his matches always brought it, man. Braun Breaker, you could make a case had a better year than Omega too, just in terms because he was hurt. And that's no disrespect to Kenny. You were hurt. That's the breaks. Like, we're not going to rank, I'm not going to put this is again, and this is to Josh's point that this isn't a sport, because if, Josh Giddey's hurt, he's not getting ranked as a top rookie in stat wise. Because
if Tom Brady goes out for the year, he's not going to get any MVP votes at the end of the year. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how this works.
But
so that again goes to Josh's argument that even though, and again, I like that.
And I absolutely lied. Trisha Dora is 50 on this list.
She's 50. So she's still the number one ranked woman on the list then, right?
Okay, so here's a question. We'll divert off of this because I think we'll talk about this.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Who's going to be number one on the women's list? In terms of a kayfabe list?
It's got to be Becky or Bianca, in my opinion.
Why isn't it Mandy Rose?
Because they don't.
Who's had a better year than her in a kayfabe
I don't think they'll value.
She will 100%.
She'll be up there though.
She'll be top 5.
I'm not saying that I think she should be number one. I think
she'll be top 5. I was going to say top 10. You think she'll be top 5?
I think it will be Becky probably, but it might be Bianca. Would be one of those. But like in terms of like a woman who's been booked better in this at that that year. Has been any woman booked? Name a time where Mandy Rose has lost.
No, exactly. And she just has some big wins. I mean, you're definitely.
I'm not. I don't think it wouldn't be left of field if I seen Mandy Rose at number one. I'd be like, no, I guess so. People would be mad.
Yeah.
They would be really mad.
I think the only thing that would matter there is they will view the NXT Women's Championship as a lower.
Again, that's not my. I don't think that.
And Britt will be up there too. Britt will be.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it will be Becky or Bianca. But
I think it will be.
I'm just trying to get in like the sense of like statistics, winning all of these titles. Mandy Rose has had probably a better year.
Because I had to look it up, just because because that's a great question.
Bianca was number 1 last year.
Bianca was 1.
Yes.
Utami was 2. Deonna Purrazzo was 3.
Yeah,
Britt
she was basically
4.
held multiple titles on the
Thunder Rosa was 5. Sasha Banks was 6.
You said Britt was 4?
Britt was 4.
And Thunder Rosa was 5.
That's last year. When the year before that, it was all WWE women. It was Asuka, Becky, Sasha, Bailey, and Charlotte. Like, they ran away with it. And then that next year. So Belair is going to be up there because she's had the gold. She's been in the big titles. Becky will be up there because she had the title for most of that run.
Yeah.
So there's 2. Mandy, without a doubt, in my opinion, should be
top 5.
Top 5. If she's not top 5, strictly on
top
the
10 for sure.
Well, yeah, but I think that you could make that argument, and then
I know a lot of people would be pissed. I kind of want Mandy to be.
I do too. I want her to like. Why can't she be like?
What the fuck?
Yeah, ever be like, if she's not number 1, like, put her like 3, and everyone be like, Mandy Rose.
Could you imagine
the outrage? Mandy Rose is 3. Mandy Rose is 3.
By the way,
I'm not saying that Britt Baker needs to be considered.
Yeah, she'll be up there.
She'll be up there too, and Thunder Rosa will be there as well. Because their evaluation.
What about Jade Cargill?
What about Liv Morgan?
Yeah, Liv Morgan had a good year. What about Jade Cargill? She's been undefeated.
That's true.
Like, I know she's not the AEW Women's Champion. She's like the secondary Women's Champion, but like undefeated, been the champion the whole time, basically.
She's been in there.
Could she not?
But I guess the difference with
I
know, but I guess the difference with her is that she's not wrestling every week.
That's fair. But is Mandy Rose wrestling every week though?
Oh, again, no.
Probably more than Jade. To her.
I'm just trying to think. Maybe other than Jade Cargill, I can't remember. I don't watch NXT all that much, but I keep up with it. Does Mandy Rose get pinned ever?
Not since she's won maybe in a tag match. I don't know, or a 6-woman match.
I honestly don't know.
I haven't been keeping up with NXT.
She's been champion for 320 plus
She's been the champion the whole time, and she hasn't lost it at all. So,
if I'm not mistaken, and I'm trying to scroll through this while not.
Yeah, where was Mandy Rose on last year's list?
I don't think she made the list.
Surely she would have.
When did she win that NXT Women's title? When did they become? They became in October of last year.
of
And
2021.
the women's
Yeah, so
evaluation
then
period
that would be
is
for
a
this year.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different evaluation period.
So I think that would probably be the majority of her stuff has happened this year, which she is undefeated, has been the champion the whole time.
I don't know if she's undefeated, by the way. I'm not Mandy
She might not
Rose's
be
fucking.
but she's at least.
I'm just
held the
saying in
title the whole
terms.
time.
I'm trying not to come across as like a Mandy Rose there. I'm really not. I'm just saying in terms of like statistics and everything like that, there hasn't been too many women that have had better years than Mandy Rose.
She completely reinvented herself and made
Good for her, by the way, because I feel like she has proved a lot of people.
She got a lot of
wrong.
shit.
No, because Dana keeps losing it. Dana loses it every week and then regains it.
Yeah, she does. She does lose it multiple times a week, but always ends up getting it back.
But Dana Brooke,
you have to take into
Dana
account
Brooke.
What if you're looking at it and you go, okay, so Mandy Rose won the title and she's the one-time champion, but she's won it. Dana Brooke has won the 24/7 championship 76 times in the last. She's been a champion, been crowned a champion 74 times. You know.
You get
like I can say this
here. Point though for each 24/7 title. Race.
I feel like I can say this here. Fuck yeah, Dana Brooke.
Yeah, why not? Who gives a shit? Yeah. You know what I need?
She's like Aaliyah. She's been around forever, and she's just there, and she's always looks like she's having a good time.
Yeah,
like good for her.
Yeah, she made a career. She's made a small career out of it.
150 last year.
Wow,
I missed it. Unless I missed it.
Mandy Rose didn't. Well, she's gonna make a high.
She'll be in there. I'm not. I don't think.
Which is an unusual. The 150 from the 100 to the 150 again. They got a different committee in the PWI. Our friend Warren Hayes is a part of it. Kristen Ashley, Righteous Reg. I think Phil Lindsay does a little stuff there too. And they really put a nice, and it was a well-deserved emphasis on more independent wrestling, especially in the women's, because there was until. There's only so many spots. The men have more opportunities, more belts, more this. So they went up. And so I don't know. Mandy Rose, I can't argue it. I just can't because I think she's good. But yeah, Dana Brooke, man, keep getting that. Like if like the women's title, the main women's title is like 10 points. The 24/7 title's like a quarter.
Wait, hold on. Dana Brooke is an intergender wrestling person. Why isn't she listed? She beats men for that championship.
She does.
But nobody values that 24/7 title.
I know. I'm just being a shit.
But you ain't wrong, man.
I'm not wrong. In a statistic way, she's intergender wrestling.
It's true. Josh is not wrong.
She's pinning men multiple times.
Yeah, sure.
Good for again. This is a Dana Brooke stan. I'm not a Dana Brooke stan, but we can be stans for a second. Fuck yeah, Dana Brooke.
I still think that this current Dana Brooke is not the original Dana Brooke. I feel like that conspiracy theory is not.
We have like an Avril Lavigne.
I think they're two different
people think that
bro.
she was replaced. She was replaced by a different Avril Lavigne.
Didn't Avril Lavigne die? And then
that was that story. Avril Lavigne died, and then a new one was presented.
And I've looked into that before, and I'm not saying that I believe it.
I know what you're going to say.
I don't not believe it.
I know what you're going to say. Because I have dived into that theory before as well and read some articles that I was like, I don't believe it, but
my sister genuinely believes that they're two different. Like that Avril Lavigne died, and then there's another woman that took over.
Regardless of that,
like not even funny. Like my sister genuinely believes.
Regardless of that, "I'm With You" by Avril Lavigne is one of the greatest songs ever made. Ever made. I will stand on and die on that hill. Avril died when she married Nickelback. Yeah, you know.
Oh man.
You know.
Today was your last day.
let me set the stage for all the people that may be new to us here. You come to Love Wrestling on Thursday nights at 8:00. We're gonna talk about coffee. We're gonna talk about basketball and who we think is the most attractive. Avril Lavigne. I don't even know if we even talk about wrestling at this point.
I mean,
this is what we do here, baby.
Josh and I, when we recorded the Power Hour, which dropped earlier today for us US folks, so go to Josh's YouTube and watch that. But yeah, we were like, right before we were recording, we were like, all right, we're just going to turn it on and we'll see what we talked about. And we talked about a dozen different things except professional wrestling. Right at the end, we had like
by the way, next week, if I can hype up the Power Hour at all.
Yeah, no, you can. You can.
JPJ's taking on Australia. We're doing a big Australian quiz. And he's going to learn all things about Australia. And it's AFL Grand Final next week, so we're going to talk about AFL Grand Final. But it's an all Australian edition. I'm even turning on my accent properly next week. So
It's happening.
I would fail that test
be-
miserably.
I think
I'm
JPJ is
probably,
kind of confident. I feel
I
like
am.
he's,
That's
he's
I'm
just
not
who I
going to
am
make
as
it
a man.
easy either.
It's
It's
just who I
gonna
am as a
be-
man. I'm a
I'm
confident.
going to be
I'm
making it
confident
hard.
in most things I do for whatever reason. I have nothing to back up my confidence, but I am
All
always
different kinds of
confident.
questions are going into that, by the way, Pluggo. When you do
So,
watch,
so when
it'll
you say
be-
all time out before, because we got like but when you say all kinds, like is there going to be like pulp culture questions, history questions, sport?
anything to do with Australia, where you're getting quizzed on.
All right.
It's
Do we
any
have a
category.
set? Do we have a set amount of questions, or are we just winging it?
Well, I've got a little bit of a.
Like, do you have like a number you're aiming for?
I've got a little bit of a plan, but I'm not going to give you too much.
That's
of
fine.
It
I don't want. I
because
want to go
want
in
you-
just ready. I want to go in
JPJ,
ready to go.
he'll
baby.
sit there. He likes to be prepared. He likes
No,
to.
I don't need all the details. I just need to know what give me what's going on, and we'll nail it.
Before we end the PWI talk, shout out to friend of the show, Alex Kane, 86 baby, and Billy Starks. She made the list too. At
Friend of the show, been on here as well.
263, I believe.
What is it? What number?
263, which
Was Billy Starks?
Yes, 263. So shout out to friends of the show. Congratulations on your involvement in the PWI 500.
I love it. I love it. But no, we did obviously want to touch on the
Kevin
PWI.
Owens is 36.
What do you think he'll be next year?
Depends. If they keep going with this, they've got to give. Here's the thing.
Oh God,
Him and Sammy are winning the tag titles from the Usos. That's where this is going.
you're going to die on that heel, aren't you?
Yes, that's the story. What do you think? And you want him to beat Roman, Pluggo? Is that where you're leaning?
I just, if you want, depending on what he does, like, I don't know if he's the guy that beats Roman and takes the belts off of Roman. I wouldn't complain. I don't know. The thing with Kevin has always been, he did get the match with Stone Cold. I don't know if that
he main evented WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin for crying out loud.
So that's part of this already. So that doesn't factor in. That factors in next year.
So if it goes from
They've
June,
got to keep booking him strong, and he could make a top 20 push. But if he doesn't hold any significant type of gold,
well, he's going to hold the WWE tag titles. That's what he's going to hold. So
everyone in the top 10 has held some kind of gold of significance. They're amazing.
They're amazing popping in.
That.
Hello, my friend.
Birthday last
Good to see
week.
you.
They're amazing. Hope you had a
happy
great
belated.
birthday.
Hope you had a great week last week.
Like, I'm trying to look at this list in terms of like, so MJF didn't hold any gold and he was at 16. Seth hasn't held anything this year and he was at 17.
Adam Cole.
So you really have to like world beater the thing to get top 10 if no gold. So they got to book him strong. They got to book Kevin strong. I don't know if tag titles are beneath him or not, but those two would be the two that would be
that story's not beneath. See, here's the thing. That story
tag titles are not a drop down.
They're not. They're not. If they're presented the way they should be.
They right now they're not, but we know for a fact that they've not treated those tag belts with any respect for a while. Like they have, like
Triple H likes tag wrestling.
I know he does, but Vince didn't. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's you know what I need in my life? Because Solo Sikoa is now obviously a member of the Bloodline, and he won the North American Championship on Tuesday. On NXT. So what I need now, because Sami Zayn is now officially the only person, again, in the Bloodline without a championship, I need Sami Zayn to win the 24/7 championship. That's what I need. I need him to win that championship, and he should.
Him and Dana, baby.
Yeah,
Dana, what a story!
Should win the 24/7 championship just so he fits in and has a title.
I want him to give Dana Brooke a Haliva kick.
Win the championship so the Bloodline has all the gold and Sammy's fitting in. That to me, I know we didn't really talk about SmackDown.
It's great.
Sami Zayn is fantastic. And that story with him and the Bloodline, at first I was kind of like, what the hell are they doing with this? But it is fantastic.
And it dragged for so long too. I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then I was like, I'm so glad they didn't squash this before Triple H took over.
Exactly.
This is so good.
Yes.
That moment when Sammy does turn.
Oh, it's going to be
or
amazing.
Like when Roman destroys Sammy and then Sammy, it is going to be like, because Sami Zayn, I'm enjoying this Sami Zayn heel stuff for as long as I can because he's a like phenomenal heel.
He is.
He is a spectacular.
They'll turn on.
No, they're going to turn on him, and the sympathy that he's going to get, he's going to be an over baby face.
That match where Roman destroys the absolute crap out of Sami Zayn and then Sami Zayn nearly wins is going to be like orgasmic.
Yeah.
Seriously, though, it will be
Oh,
so good. It's probably going to be the Rumble.
Oh my god.
Because it's
So-
not going to be a Mania match, but I think it will be a pay-per-view
No,
match.
I
and
think the
we will
Mania
get
match
it.
next year, honestly, I think it should be Owens and Zayn versus the Usos for the tag titles. I think that
God,
should be.
end the show. End the show.
What?
No, I'm for it as well. But you
How
said
much?
it so many,
How
you
how
said
many
it
times
so
have you-
many times to me. I'm like almost don't
I know.
want it to happen.
I'm
just so
because
you
they need to
just, like,
fucking do it.
see
Like they're
your
having
face.
on SmackDown this Friday again. They're having a fatal 4-way again to decide who the number one contenders are for the Usos. And it's like, bro, the only team anybody cares about beating the Usos is fucking Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Just what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? You've
I'm
had the
for
couple
it as well,
segments.
but I
You've
want
had-
it to not happen just so JPJ cries.
I might. Now that I care about WWE again, I'm invested back in it. I want shit to happen. Anyway, sorry. That's
Anyway.
enough. We've almost
Don't
got
get-
nearly 2 hours.
Don't
So,
get too
probably should.
hyped up, man.
I'm not going to get too hyped up, but I think we should probably start winding
Wrapping
down and
this
getting
up.
out of here. We've done it for almost
You don't
2
wanna
hours.
Break down the 400 to 500 part of the list.
Yeah, I mean, who
Oh,
came in
God.
at 400? It was a big name that came in at 400. Hold on. Wait.
Mr.
wait.
Irrelevant on the list is always fun.
400 was Matt Taven.
Dustin
And Solo
Wilson is
Sikoa was 401. Speak of
Yeah.
the devil. Speak of the bloodline.
So he'll
No.
shoot up pretty
Where was
fast
Sami
this
Zayn
year.
on the list? Kevin Owens was 36.
The Miz was 150, and he held the title.
Yeah, but he held the title just to get it to Bobby Lashley.
But I'm just saying
Like,
he
that's
held
why
the
he held it.
title.
Still held the title, baby.
It's true.
The
Wait,
fact that name
Sami Zayn
redacted-
has to be above Kevin Owens, right? Or
No.
maybe not.
Who had a better year? Kevin Owens.
I
had
mean, I
the
feel like
main event
Owens
at
took some time
WrestleMania
off
was
multiple
Stone
times.
Cold.
I feel like Owens was kind of like
You
hit or
main
miss.
event WrestleMania was Stone Cold. You're on this list. It don't matter. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's right.
agreed.
It's right.
Agreed.
Oh,
Like,
Sami Zayn was 84,
and he-
84,
and
right
Roman-
above Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, which
Good
by
for
the way,
Kofi. Hell yeah.
85. Well, Kofi Kingston was
Xavier-
85. Xavier Woods was 37.
King of the
Xavier,
Ring.
because he won the King of the Ring. He won the King of the
Oh
Ring.
yeah. Oh wow,
And,
I
you know,
forgot about that.
So you had Big E at 9, Xavier Woods at 37, and Kofi at 85.
Day.
Can't wait
Pretty
to
good.
see
All three
Zelina
within the
Vega
top 100.
in there and she's
Yeah.
Queen.
Effie was 95 in the top 100 for Effie.
Absolutely disrespected.
I think he should have been a lot
absolutely
higher. I think he should have been a lot
disrespectful.
higher.
Effie easily
Rules.
had one of the best years of
Yep.
any wrestler anywhere.
Didn't
Yep.
lose to Jeff Jarrett.
He did. He
But
did.
you wrestled Jeff Jarrett. You brought.
You lost to Jeff Jarrett.
Oh,
You don't
no.
disrespect Effie like that.
But on that note, we've
Yes.
almost gone literally
Yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah.
We want to thank our sponsors, RK Athletics. You can follow them on all social media platforms at right there, RK Athletics 1. If you're looking for some personal training just to get a little bit healthier, Rich King is a great dude. He's a great professional wrestler up in Canada, but he's a great personal trainer as well. That is the team to see. So make sure if you're looking to get a little bit healthier coming into fall over here in the United States, check out RK Athletics. They are the group to go to. As always, manscaped.com. If you go to manscaped.com, you put in the promo code Love Wrestling, you will get 20% off plus free shipping. And that free shipping is what, Pluggo?
Worldwide, baby.
Worldwide. You can live all the way in
Anywhere.
the Northeast where I
Where
live. You
Josh.
can live in Australia where Josh lives. You can live in the middle of the country where Pluggo lives. You can live in Antarctica. Doesn't fucking matter. You go to manscaped.com, you put in the promo code Love Wrestling, 20% off and free shipping worldwide. Let them know that Love Wrestling sent you there. Let them know that you like our little agreement. We do have a clip that we are going to play right now with Pluggo and Gigi Ray. Pluggo, why don't you lead that clip? Let the people know where they'll be able to see this whole interview. And before we
Everywhere.
show this clip.
We got our Patreon. This will be it was a Patreon exclusive. It's now out everywhere. It's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I'm sorry, I don't know why I blanked on Twitter, but it's me and Gigi Ray discussing her upcoming match at LPW 8. Are we not wrestlers?
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, that's all. I mean, that's what we talked about it. We'll play the clip. You'll
Yeah,
hear the clip.
Alex, play the
Go
clip.
Play the clip. Right on, right on. And like we said, this match takes place Friday, September 30th at the Rec Room in Alberta, Canada. Before I get you out of here and take up any more of your time, Gigi, but you've been awesome. maybe the fans that don't know who Gigi Ray, what can they expect to see come that LPWH show? Because like you said, everybody knows Nicole. She's got the name, and you're on that come up. But what can those fans that if they come out to the rec room expect to see from Gigi Ray?
You're going to see a money show. I'm the money. That's what I do. I'm a money performer. I bring the people in. I get people excited. And when I'm in there, it's a fun show. Everyone always seems to have a good time. I like to bring a little bit of the fun. I kind of come out dancing, have a good time. And I like to get everyone hype. And like everyone's usually behind me when we're there. So it's going to be a good time.
Beauty.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. She goes on a little bit longer for another, but it's about an 8-minute interview. It's a quick one. So if you're on socials, I've posted it everywhere. Please click on that. Show it some love. Also, I don't think we have a graphic for it, but we have another. Spenny Love had an interview with Eddie Edwards of Impact Wrestling that also dropped on all of our social medias. So please go take a look at that. I thought
he even asked him a question about the New England Patriots for me because Eddie Edwards is a Boston boy like me, you know. And Spencer even asked him a question about it. So
Eddie was like, "I'm out. I'm leaving."
He's like, "I'm out. I'm leaving this interview. I didn't know we were going to be talking about this. Trying to have a happy day." But on that note, Josh. It's been a while, my friend, but it was lovely having you here. It has been too long. You know, Pluggo and I have always been Josh Robinson stands on this show and in life. Let the people know where they can find you. And just let the people know where they can check all your stuff out right now.
You can find me pretty much everywhere at Josh Robinson _00, pretty much everywhere. But that's my Twitter, that's where I'm posting most of my stuff, or my TikTok, or whatever you want to watch. I don't really do that much content outside of the Power Hour and my streams anymore. I used to do a lot more, but I'm just having a good time. I'm kind of popping myself, which is way more fun than trying to entertain anyone else. And if you're nice enough to me and I like you enough, you'll get to be in my circle tweets on Twitter, and
I'm in
there. They're interesting.
Those are fun. That's a fun time.
That's like Josh.
I didn't know what that was at first, and I was like, "Am I in the circle?" Because there's a green box. And I'm in there, and then I started seeing. I'm like, "Hell yeah, dude!"
Yeah, I don't post that. I don't post that stuff. I'm not posting my dong or anything like that, guys. But
you mean your frighteningly large dong? Is that what we're talking about
here? Yes, that one. That said, as for mentioned, frighteningly large dong. I'm not doing any of that. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. But
I'm walking upstairs and being like, "Mrs. Pluggo, Ben thinks I have a frightening large dong."
But anyway, you can find me pretty much everywhere there. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me here on Twitch. I'm always doing something. I'm just having a good time. Whether you want to watch or not, I'm doing my thing.
All right. Oh, someone's speeding down the street here. Vroom outside. Oh, good. Running away from something. Pluggo, give the people our plugs where you can find Between Two Beards on social media, where they can find you. Let the people know.
Yeah, I can do that. And like Josh said, man, I'm just pop yourself, and then people will come. You know, it's about put out the content that you like and that you enjoy and that you find fun, because that's what this business is all about. Exactly. It's supposed to be fun.
Be creative with things.
Be creative. That's
good to be creative.
Have a good time. Yeah. Do the things you love. Pop yourself. People will follow. But yes, and speaking of follow, you can follow me at Pluggo _. Just look for this beautiful face. It's all over all of the social medias that I'm a part of. Pluggo, that's me. Stay tuned. I got some stuff I've been working on, trying out on my social medias, especially at Between Two Beards, at B2Beards on all socials. We're trying some new things, questions of the days, putting some new content, just trying things and seeing if it sticks, having some fun. So if you feel like following us, please do that. It would be awesome as we try to grow and hit our next milestone on all of our social medias. JPJ, I'm going to let you, the Excalibur of the show, plug all the Love Wrestling stuff because I butchered it last time.
What do you mean you butchered it all? What are you talking about?
Right, this stuff right here because it's going fast.
Facebook.com/LoveWrestlingCA. Twitter is at LoveWrestlingCA. Instagram at LoveWrestlingCA. YouTube.com/LoveWrestlingCA. And you can shop Love Wrestling at lovewrestling.ca/shop. And if you could give us a good rating on Rate This Podcast /Love Wrestling, there you go. It's all Love Wrestling CA on almost all social medias. We got some announcements that'll be coming up later this week into early next week, which will be exciting. They're going to be good announcements. Sunday brunch will be live this Sunday at 1 p.m. Yeah. Other than that, we'll be back. We got Monday Night Shaw on Mondays. You see Pluggo and me every Thursday at 8 p.m. Plus, like I said, we'll have some announcements and maybe some people, new people coming back, new shows, things like that. Love Wrestling is going to have. So pay attention. Stay tuned. We're going to have some announcements over the next coming of couple weeks. You can follow me, Joseph Poulin Jr. on Twitter. You can give me a follow over on Twitch at JPJ Loves Gaming. We became an affiliate this morning.
Woo, woo!
We finally
Let's
made
go!
it to affiliate this morning. So I've been growing a small little community over there. It's been a lot of fun these last few months.
Me in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. Pluggo's usually there in a lot of the chats. So head over there, give me a follow, give me some love over there. I will greatly appreciate you and appreciate it. But for Josh, for Pluggo, for Alex behind the glass, I am JPJ. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Between Two Beards. And until next Thursday, peace out.